My mom took me to my third grade dance, and on the way there, I was smoking with her. I actually catch a forgery charge for counterfeit money. We're sitting on there, and we're flipping the 20 and all this, and we're copying it, and we're just printing on regular paper. I chased the cop down.
These aren't low inmates, bro. Tattoos all over their face. They're walking around like...
Crazy. Did you get any fights when you were really locked up?
I've said this before. See, Colby's laughing.
Yeah.
Listen, bro, I'm not at those places.
Yeah. I was the type of kid, like, I was real outgoing. I got along with everybody. I just, like, routed to, like, the bad kids, you know? So I started getting in trouble just breaking windows young, car windows, just stupid stuff that I'd be pissed if somebody did it to me, you know? I went on, like, a spree of, like, popping tires, like, for a month straight, just sticking a knife in it. Just the thrill of just hearing the shh on it was just stupid, you know? But...
And how old were you?
I was probably 9, 10 years old, young. Dude, so having older brothers too, I was 8 years old when I first started smoking weed. You know, drinking. I actually my mom took me to my third grade dance, and on the way there, I was smoking weed with her. And I went there, I was all high, 8 years old, 9 years old, fucking the only one in there, probably high, just sliding across the floor, just doing dumb stuff. It was just...
Did this continue? Did you ever start getting into trouble, like real trouble? Not.
I used to get in trouble a lot for fighting. You know, my dad was a narcissist, and you know, my mom was just in and out of my life, just crack, drinking. You know, and I guess I was just a lost kid. You know, I was fat too. You know, yeah. So I work out a lot now because I don't want that to happen. But yeah, I was real overweight. I was like 9 years old, 200 pounds, like just fat. But it's crazy because I grew up skinny all the way until like 8 or 9. I just got fat one year. It's just...
Well, the weed probably didn't help.
Yeah, I'm sure. So I used to get picked on, and then I used to fight the older kids. I used to just fight a lot. So that's back then, like, you used to fight, and then cop would take you home, drop you off, and then it is what it is. I did get in trouble one time. I was probably 12 or 13 years old. We were walking through a neighborhood. We're walking. I picked up a rock that was on the side of the road, and then I just turned and I threw it through a living room window. And then right away, these people ran out the house. So we all booked them. There was like 5 of us. We all went different directions.
Right.
And then everybody just started getting picked off one by one by the cops. We're all like laying in backyards and everything. It got to a point where everybody got picked off. I hide under this low deck, and I'm hiding under there. And I start taking off, like, I had sweatpants on. And like back then I used to wear shorts under my pants. So I took the sweatpants off, I took the hoodie off, and I kept it under the deck. And I get up, I thought the coast was clear, and I started walking through this neighborhood, and a cop calls me over. He's like, "Yo, come here." I'm like, I ran. He was like, "Why are you running?" I was like, "I ran because I seen the cops and all this. I didn't know what to do. I was trying to get myself out of it." Not for nothing. I wound up getting away with it. But the cops called. I think it was when the cell phones just came out. So I must have been like 13 or 14, like the Sprint flip phones, and they just came out. I guess they called my parents, and when they called my parents, they were like, "Hey, we have your son's hoodie and sweatpants here. We want to talk to him." So when it happened, they were like, back to that situation about the rock going through the window. It's funny that you said that you were just running, you had nothing to do with it, you were just running because the cops were there. And I was just like, look, I ran, I hid, I was like, I got scared, I didn't know what to do. I said, I didn't have nothing to do with it. But yeah, that was like my first like real stint of like getting in trouble, even though I got away with it.
So what happened like in high school? Did you graduate high school? Were you selling drugs? Were you ever in trouble? Good student, bad student?
So I used to get in trouble a lot, like middle school. Like I said, I was fighting. I don't know. I just had a chip on my shoulder, I was always fighting. Like I was one of them kids that was just like get mad and just like cry and just punch walls and just stupid stuff. I carried that all the way until I went to prison when I was 19. But 8th grade, I finished 8th grade all the way through Lindenwold. Then my parents wanted to get us out of the neighborhood and everything because, like, it was just bad. It was turning bad, you know,
Right.
a lot of gang violence and just stupid stuff around there.
Did I
And
think you were going to end up getting involved in it, or was that part of it, or is it just
I
a bad
was
neighborhood?
involved with it,
Okay.
you know, like I never really got in trouble though, but my dad knew, you know, he
Right.
knew. Like my older brother, like we never really got like in trouble. Like I don't know why, but we were always doing stupid stuff. Or if we did do stupid stuff, the cop would just take us home and drop us off. So I actually moved to this town. It's called Franklinville. Everybody lives like 5-10 minutes away. You know, it's just like you ain't getting on a bus or riding your bike to your buddy's house. You know,
Right.
I went there for 2 years. The way I am, like I don't know, it was like at that point, like I would just go to a new school and then I wouldn't talk to nobody for like the first 6-7 months. I don't like not like I guess nervous, you know, like 'cause I don't know nobody, you know, and there's just so much stuff probably going through my head at the time. Like I don't know if these kids are gonna like me or what, but not for nothing. So after like 6 months of going there, I started. I went on the football team, so I got on the football team. So when I got on the football team, I met one of my good friends. He introduced me, you know, other people, and my dad actually, when he moved there, he sold the house and he built this big house that he couldn't even afford, like this huge house. I don't know what he was thinking. Couldn't afford it. Didn't pay no taxes, no mortgage on it for 2 years. Wanted foreclosing it, losing all the money. It was just nuts. But so we had this big basement, and I used to throw parties. So I became like the man there, you know. Like
Right.
I started meeting everybody. I knew everybody now and all that. So my place was a place to party. And my parents, they would just be in their room. Like they got real bad on prescription pills and stuff, and they would just stay in the room at all times. Like they wouldn't leave this room. And we would be down there partying and all, and like I don't even think they heard us. You know, like I'm like 50, 100 people. Like, it was crazy. Not long after that, like a year and a half in there, I actually catch a forgery charge for counterfeit money.
How does that come about?
So I was drinking and I had took a Klonopin my first time. I didn't even know what it was. My buddy's like, yeah, that'll mess you up. So I'm like, all right, I'll try it. So I take this Klonopin and well, we all did, and we get all messed up. And we're like, oh, let's print some money. So it was a regular printer and a computer that my dad had to do his payroll. We had that. So we're sitting on there and we're flipping the 20 and all this, and we're copying and we're just printing on regular paper.
Right.
You know? Then actually my fiance I'm with now, she was there. We were on and off like all this time. And I was dating her at the time. She comes in, she was like, you guys are doing it all wrong. Like, here, let me help you, right? So we print all this money out, right? Like a couple $100 and cut it out and everything. You know, it's regular printing paper. So I'm like, fuck. Like,
So it feels different.
Yeah, so we got to do something. So I'm like, put it in our sock. So we put it in our sock to soften it up to feel like real money. And it looked, for print paper, it looked pretty legit.
Right.
You know, it really did. But so it was like 2:00 in the morning and there's a Wawa like 10 minutes down the street. We go down there. So this is all the same night.
Right.
So we go down to this Wawa and I tell my buddies, I'm like, dude, do not use this money here, you know? So we go in there and I see him, he's paying for something. So I left the store. But as I'm leaving, I hear everything go on. Actually, I was next to him when he first used the 20. And then he used it, got away with it. And then I start leaving, right? And then he goes, here, can I have change for this 20? And she doesn't. I guess she looked at both of them. They both had the same the same number on it.
Right.
And she was like, oh, like something. Like they started arguing. I left. I ran. And while I was chasing him, I live literally 5-10 minutes from the store. And by the time we get close to my house, literally like a minute from my house, there's this overpass that goes over, and right down the hill, this overpass is my house. Cops come from like quick because there's nothing else going on in this
Right.
in this town.
This is a big deal.
Yeah, so this is like, oh, counterfeit money, kids, you know, like, all right, let's get them, you know. So they come from both sides, hop out, you know, and they're like, oh, don't go nowhere. I hop over this guardrail. I'm about to just run because there's a main highway. I'm like, I'm about to go. I look over and my fiance I'm with now, she's just standing there. I'm like, fuck, I can't leave her. So she says it didn't happen like that, but it did. You know, it definitely did. So I stood there, and I almost got away with that. And then they tell me to take my socks off, my shoes and my socks. And I'm like, damn. So I take it out, and the 20 dropped, and I stepped on it. He was like, what was that? I was like, what was what? He's like, what'd you just step on? Fuck. So that was that. I wound up doing, actually, I think I did like a month or something in juvenile.
So, well, they grab at that time. They grab you, and what do they do? Take you downtown? They said, yeah. I mean, obviously they got you. You know, what about your buddy? Did you get? They get your buddy too?
So yeah, so they got him, and so they got two of us, two of my buddies, and then me. One wound up getting away with because he didn't have no money on him.
Right.
They let my fiance go too. I told her she didn't have nothing to do with it. They let her go. So it's basically, but we're all in the police station, and we're over there like fucking suck my dick, like just just God. Kids talking.
I'd be sitting there crying like a baby, like oh no.
Yeah, it was, dude. We were sitting there and we're like, just talking crap, like I'll fuck your mother, this, that, you know, just and
making it worse.
Yeah, just making it 10 times worse. You know, if I can tell my cop, I'll beat him up. I'm 14 years, I'm 16 years old or 15 at the time. I'm like, just stupid stuff. So yeah, they wrote us a whole bunch of charges, sent us away. So I'm sitting in juvenile now. I'm like, fuck, And I actually did have a couple problems. Like, I remember the first time there, it was like just 17, 8 years old, big black dude. And, at this point, I'm skinny now because the 8th grade summer going in 9th grade, I was like, damn, I got to lose weight. So I was throwing up for like 8 months trying to lose weight. Yeah, I lost like 50 pounds.
Did you say throwing up?
Dude, I was like bulimic. What is it? Bulimic?
Yeah.
Whatever, when you throw up. Yeah. So I went, I was like, dude, I got to lose this weight. So I started.
Or maybe just cut back on the potato chips.
Yeah, I mean, that's cut back on that. Yeah. So I would just eat something now. I feel instant guilt and I'll throw up, and it was, it was stupid, but it worked, So, So, so I lost all this weight. Now I'm like, from like 210 down to like 150 now. It's just skinny, and then, I'm not even comfortable in my body now, because now I'm skinny as hell,
And you're in juvenile.
So now I'm in juvenile. This big black dude walks up or something. He was like, I'm gonna need your shoes. I'm like, oh man, here we go. I'm like, damn. I was like, I forget what I said, but I started arguing with him, right? And then we wound up fighting, and then, dude, not for nothing, like it was just like kind of just hit for hit, and but that kind of like right then and there like made a name for myself. It was like the first night too. I'm like, damn. But dude, I was just so much fear going through my body when he approached me, though, dude. Like I was just like, I'm like, and I just started arguing with him. I don't even know what I said to him, but we wound up fighting, and then it was just kind of hit for hit. Thank God he didn't whoop my ass, but yeah, that was like my first night in juvenile, and then I'm like, damn, this is gonna suck, And then I think my dad wanted to bail me out. He did want to. Yeah, he wanted to bail me out. So I fought that. Then I wind up. I think I got juvenile PTI, I think, or something like that, or some kind of probation for like a year or something.
I thought you said you did like 30 days or something. No.
Yeah. I'm saying that I sat, and then my dad wanted to bail me. So I guess I did the 30 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was sitting there. It was just, I guess as everything was going on, and then and my dad didn't know what to do at the time. Like he never really got in trouble until he got older. Like my dad didn't get in trouble until he was like 50 years old. So they didn't know nothing about it. So I did the 30 days, and then I think when like a year went by after like fighting it, I think I got like a year probation or PTI or something like that. Something stupid.
What's PTI? I don't know what that
PTI is pre-trial intervention. Oh, it's kind of like probation is supposed to be.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like you're supposed to call like once a month, check in with a probation officer, and depends what level you're on too. There's like level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, the feds have something like that, but in their version, it's like they'll tell you like you have to do these things, and we'll drop the charges. Like they'll actually drop the charges. They're like, they're like, look, let's say you embezzled $30,000 or something, and you go to them before they've indicted you and explain what happened, and they'll say, well, you obviously made a mistake. You're sorry. You want to fix it. So we're going to put you on a year pretrial release or pretrial intervention. But you have to by the end of it, you have to have all this paid back. And so if you pay it back, but that's if you were to go to them before they know there's a crime. You know what I'm saying? And once they know there's a crime, they start investigating. Now you're just fucked.
Okay.
So
Matt Cox wouldn't be able to do that.
No, I wouldn't be able to do that. But I mean, I've known guys that actually had that, like they ran like a Ponzi scheme. They was like $1 million, and they went in before everything. You know, there were complaints. They knew there were complaints, so they go in first and say, "Look, here's what happened. I'm fucked up." Explains the whole thing. I can pay it back. Put me on probation, and they put him on pretrial intervention. And the guy paid back $1 million.
So it's like the first time it ever happened at the Fed,
if you've
seen it type deal.
Yeah. If you haven't been in trouble before, like you can't have been in and out of jail and come and do that. They're gonna be like, "Nah, you're a knucklehead. This is no, that's not gonna work." It'd be the only people I've seen it work with is like white collar guys.
Yeah, like telling them I made a mistake, like the bank calls first time or something like that.
Right. Let me just pay it back.
Yeah. That's cool though. I mean,
yeah. Well, that guy, the guy I'm talking about, his name was Blaine Davis. He paid back the $1 million by starting another Ponzi scheme.
Oh, that's smart. I'm mad at him though. Damn.
So he did pay it back. They were like, "Oh, you're good. You're good." And then
did he ever get in trouble?
Yeah, 3 years later, they bust him for the second Ponzi scheme. And they're like, "You stole $20 million," and he's like, "What choice did I have? I had to pay back the $1 million." So you ended up getting off probation, or did you get in trouble while on probation? I mean,
no. So I didn't get in trouble. I had a curfew and all that, and I didn't want to get in trouble. Like I said, I was in this town, so like I was getting, I was either at the house or I would get picked up from one of my buddies and just stay at their house, So I wasn't really getting in trouble then. And then, so what happened is my dad lost his house 2 years later. So 11th grade, I go to this rural preppy, like this school's like as big as a college, you know, like a little county college. Like it's a big school. It's a high school. And it's Washington Township. There's a lot of preppy kids from like South Philly, and they think they're the shit and all this. Their parents got multi-million-dollar houses.
They're driving BMWs to school.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, it's their parents got money, dude. They're like the Jersey Shore people, like the blowouts and the tan and just know. So I go there in like 11th grade, dude. I hate my life. I hate it. And so this is the thing. I get good grades though when I'm not fooling around and everything. Like my first year, 9th grade, got pretty good grades when I'm not talking to anybody, because what else am I going to do? I'm not clowning around. I'm not doing anything. So all I can do is do my work, you know? So the same thing, I go there, I'm getting pretty good grades, but dude, I'm fighting. I hate it there. Like I was walking out of gym one time and so I guess somebody spit on me. And then I'm walking out and the dude's like, "Yo, you got spit on your thing." So I turn around and I'm like, "What?" Dude, like somebody literally spit on me. I'm like, "What the fuck?" So I go in there the next day, and then I'm fighting these 2 kids, and I get suspended because I found out they're the ones that did it. So not for nothing, like I'm just getting in fights there. So 12th grade, I'm walking with this chick. So when you walk out of high school, you go to the parking lot, and then there's like a strip mall across where everybody hung out. Like parked there, their cars, and everybody after school, that's where everybody hung out.
Right.
So I'm walking up. She was like, "Yo, like my ex-boyfriend's gonna be over there. Just don't say nothing to him." Like, all right, like no problem. I ain't gonna say nothing to him. So we walk over, and he walks up. He knows who I am, and he's like, "Yo, what are you doing with my girl?" Da da da. I'm like, "Bro, just stop. Like I'm just trying to leave. Like I don't want no problems." So as soon as he starts walking up to me, like I'm holding her hand, I just punch him, like boom, and I hit his nose, started gushing. So he's like laying there, like and his fucking sister comes up and hits me on the side of the face. Boom, I'm like, "Oh shit." So and then after she hits me, he like fucking starts swinging on me. So they're swinging on me, and then everybody, I guess, started going, all the commotion when a fight happens. And then I guess the cops seen it because they had a cop on campus. So he started rolling up. Everybody's like, "Oh, the cops are coming." So I run across, try to get on my bus. And as soon as I step on the bus, they were like, no, Mr. Smith, come here.
We're not a getaway. This isn't a getaway service.
Yeah. So they pulled me right then and took me to the principal's office. First day of school, 12th grade. I'm like, oh, fuck. So the principal was like, all right, this is it. He was like, I want you out of my school. I'm like, damn. I'm like, all right. He was like, but look, if you drop out of my school today, I'll get you in this program over at, it's called GCIT. It's an adult high school program. He was like, you'll get your diploma. He said, it's just like regular school, but it's an alternative. He was like, you're going to go there. You can either do it online or you do it in person. He was like, you'll get a diploma. You'll get a little ceremony to walk and everything. I'm like, online, like sign me up, you know?
Right.
So at this point, when I moved to this rich neighborhood, I was closer to where I grew up. So a lot of my friends are like gang banging or, getting in trouble. And it was like a 20-minute bike ride to where I grew up. So I was going there a lot. I started selling a lot of weed and all and stuff like that. So I didn't really get into. So I'm selling a lot of weed and I'm selling a lot of pills at the time. You know, so I'm like, all right, cool, like, you know, online, like, you know, and I could just sell drugs and just do school when I want, you know. So
right.
I when I'm graduating, I got my diploma. I actually finished in March or April. They had a little ceremony. I got, you know, the cap, gown, all that. So if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't have graduated.
Right.
But I think the principal seen something in me and just knew I had a chip on my shoulder, and he was just like, because he told me straight up, he was like, don't tell nobody. Like, I don't tell nobody this. He was like, but I'll get you over there. And he did, dude. I dropped out that day and then was talking to the principal for like 3 days. And then, you know, he was calling this school and all, and they got me right in.
I was going to say, you're probably better off that you didn't actually go to that you did it online. You're probably better off that you didn't go to the school, because an alternative school, of course, you got other guys too that have had problems, and then it's just, you know, it's even it ends up being even worse. You know what I'm saying? Because now everybody's got a chip on their shoulder. They're all ready to fight it. You know, it ends up being kind of like a gladiator school. You know, it's
100%.
Better off just staying home.
You're right. I didn't ever look at it like that. Yeah, I probably would have.
So I mean, definitely the home school route was probably the better choice than actually going to the school.
Yeah, and it was great for me because I was, you know, going out all day, getting, you know, selling drugs, going over there, hanging out with a whole bunch of nobodies, and I would come home at like 11 o'clock, do a couple hours of schoolwork, and then go to sleep. You know,
it's funny. I mean, this is on a side note. Is that you remind me of this guy, David Simpson, that I grew up with, and I actually just had dinner with him and a friend of mine named Trent Colta, and but it's so funny too, because he was always getting into fights, always getting into trouble, and we were walking into the restaurant because me and my buddy Trent, we all grew up together. We're all going to dinner because he happened to come down to Florida, and we're all going to dinner. And he owns like a hugely successful window installation business now, right?
Oh,
like
nice.
He's making tons of money. He's doing great. He's got like 2 or 3 kids, gorgeous wife, gorgeous kids. You know, just like this perfect family. But growing up, problems.
Yeah.
And it's funny, we walked in and I looked at him, I said, who would have thought when we were growing up, I would have gone to prison, and you know, and you ended up being like the upstanding citizen, you know?
He was probably,
yeah. He was like, looked at me, he said, I know, right? Like that, nobody saw. Like my buddy Trent, when I would call him from prison, he would say the same thing. He'd be like, every time you call from this fucking place, bro, I think, how did you end up in prison?
Were you a good kid?
I was a really good kid. I never got into trouble.
Hey.
But Trent and the guy David, always in trouble. Trent, I remember, quit school in like 11th grade, went home, didn't tell his family, went home. And I went with him. We're having dinner with his dad, his mom, his brother Treon. We're all sitting there, and I'm just being quiet because I'm thinking they don't know. And his mom had gotten a phone call from the high school.
Well, you guys are at dinner?
Yeah, we're sitting. No, earlier in the day. She just didn't say anything. So we're all sitting there eating them. You know,
How uncomfortable is that?
Yeah, well, we don't know. She knows. I'm thinking she's got to know. They had to have called, right? Like he had to go in and quit. He went in and signed paperwork, and they told him like, we're going to call your parents. He's like, call him. I think he turned 18, so he just dropped out.
Yeah, I'm surprised they did call him. So
right, but they called. Yeah. Well, for some reason he was able to do it.
Yeah,
whether he was 18 or whatever, he's old enough to do it.
Yeah.
And so we're sitting there eating, and his mom looks at his dad and goes, she's like, and his dad's like, what? And she goes, Frank? And he goes, what? He goes, oh, yeah, that's right. He goes, hey, looks at his son. His dad owned all those gyms. So, he's like, yeah, hey, Load. He goes, how was school today? He goes, best fucking day of school I've had in years. Looked at him and he goes, and he starts laughing. He looks at his mom. He goes, what? I said something. And she's like, oh my God, that's it? He goes, what am I going to do? What do you want? And we just sat there. We just sat there and ate and then got up and left. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't, that was it.
That was some inspiration to drop out.
No, yeah,
that was that easy.
That was the extent. That was the extent of the punishment. Anyway, I think his dad was like, oh, you better get a job. He's like, I'm going to get a job. He's like, all right. That's all. That's it. Of course, his dad graduated. I mean, his dad dropped out of like the 5th grade or something. And he used to say, if you would say, oh, man, you dropped out of the 5th grade. He goes, yeah. He goes, if I could do it again, he said, I dropped out of the 4th grade. He said, because by the 4th grade, I knew how to read and write. And that's all I really needed. And it was just like, wow. So you can, it wasn't a strong, they didn't have a strong value in education in the family. But then again, his dad was like a multi-millionaire too.
Just a little gym head,
but he owned tons of gyms. Yeah. He was Mr. Florida. He had been Mr. Florida. So anyway, but I'm sorry, you remind me of David. So anyway, sorry, just got sidetracked.
You're good.
So you ended up graduating high school, right? So what happened then?
So I did graduate. So like I said, I never really got caught in trouble. So this is how I started selling weed. So I actually I was never crazy, but I was buying, 30, 40 pounds. I was buying a lot of weed at one point, I was getting a lot of pills and I was selling them and I was making a lot of money. I think I was just got my license. All right. So this is another thing too. So even before I had my license, I was 16. So when I first moved to this place, Washington Township, I was actually in Turnersville. It's right next to this rich place, Washington Township. I lived in Turnersville, which it was kind of regional, so I had to go to the school. So I'm staying there, right? And so I live in this split level house, I believe.
Yeah, a duplex,
a duplex, yeah.
Townhouse that's split, right?
Exactly. So I'm living there, and right next to me is actually a big gym, and then warehouses back there. So it's a whole bunch of parking lots and stuff. So we're all over there partying at the house, and I told my boy, I said, listen, because actually it was my fiance I'm with now. I was like, listen, because the bedroom door, it locked from the hallway. So I was like, listen, it's my fiance. I said, call Christy in here. I'm gonna take her keys and I'm gonna go joyriding in her car. So she called him in. I locked the door and I ran outside. I get in her car. I think I was with one of my buddies. I forget. So we get in the car and I'm doing donuts and everything in this parking lot. I don't even have my license yet. And then I see the Cherries. Cop pulls me over. I'm just pulling up to next to my house, and then he pulls me over, and he's like, da da da. Go through it all, drinking and everything. I said, dude, can I just go in my house? I said, I live right here. I just parked the car. And he's like, yeah, it don't work like this. Right? And he was like, I probably would have never even seen you. He said, I probably would never even pulled you over if you had your headlights on. So I was doing all these donuts and everything, but his main thing, he didn't pull me over. Main reason he pulled me over, so it was nighttime. I didn't have my headlights on. So I don't even think he see me doing the donuts. I think he just see me pulling up to the house, but I didn't have my headlights on.
Right.
So I wound up getting a DUI. So I'm 16, 17 years old.
DUI,
my first DUI.
With no driver's license.
With no driver's license. So my license was suspended before I even got it.
Right.
So I had to go through that. So it was like the forgery that, I was a little bit of trouble I got in. you know.
And now you graduate high school, you're selling drugs. You just got your driver's license back.
Yes, just got my driver's license
for the DUI.
back. Yeah. So
not back. First, you just got your driver's license.
Just got it
you
for
never
the
even
first
had
time.
one.
Yeah, I never even had one. It got suspended for like, I don't know, 6 months or something like that before I even had juvenile DUI. So yeah. So in the meantime, I'm selling a lot of drugs. So I'm making, you know, I don't know. I'm 17 or something. I'm at least making like anywhere from $600 to $1,000 a day, like profit. Like it's not bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm not huge, big time, but you know, I'm
for a 17-year-old
making a lot more money than a lot of people. You
right.
know. So I buy this nice Lincoln LS, you know, V8. You know, I probably racked up 1 million fines and speeding tickets with that and everything. So, you know, I'm feeling like the man. You know, I'm making all this money. I'm just driving around. So I'm like getting wrapped up in a lot of like stupid stuff. Like I'm the type, dude, I'll do drugs before I know like, all right, like I'm gonna do this drug. Like PCP, you know, I got hooked on that and I didn't realize that it made you half retarded, you know what I'm saying?
All right.
It's abominant fluid, you know. So I smoked that for years. I was getting e-pills, you know, selling them. I would go to these raves, like parties, and I would get e-pills for like $1, $2 a piece, and then go there selling for $15, $20, you know, and just killing it. But I would do them, you know. I was doing e-pills like they were Skittles,
right?
You know, you know what that is, like Molly or whatever. I know.
Yeah,
I know you.
I thought you were thinking. I thought ecstasy.
Ecstasy, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like same thing. It's MDMA, so same thing that's in it. So I'm doing that, and
why do you think you're doing all that? I'm just wondering. Like, I'm just wondering. To me, you know,
I know why.
Okay.
So I'm doing all like Of course, it's part of the lifestyle. You know, you sell drugs, you usually do drugs. Right. You know, the lifestyle is stupid. You know, you're not supposed to get high on your own supply, right? Right. But I'm also drinking a lot too. I'm getting E&J like brandy. I'm getting like I'm drinking almost a fifth a day. You know, I'm 17 or 18 years old. You know, and I'm not doing anything. I'm just driving around, you know, selling drugs the whole time. So the reason why is like honestly, like I was lost. You know, I was lost. I was just like I lost my brother. Oh, I lost my brother when I was 16. Okay. So that was like my best friend. And
what happened? How that happened?
Epilepsy. Okay. Yeah, he was 20 years old and he died from a seizure.
Had he been having seizures?
Yeah, since he was 13, like 7 years. So we knew like you know, like it was stupid because like we'd get mad and I'd be like, I hope you fucking die from a seizure. Like stupid stuff when, you know, brothers argue. Right. Because you don't ever think nothing of it. And, you know, 7 years of him going through these seizures and all, like, he ain't never gonna die, you know? And then like one day he was at my grandparents living there and then he died in the basement. My grandpa walked down and he was dead. So that ripped me apart. So I was already in the streets and everything when that happened, and it just got worse from there. So, but that definitely had a big part of why. And then my childhood, you know, I didn't really want to get into it, but you know, my dad got in all these car accidents. He used to party a lot, like go up in his room when I was younger. Like I remember when I was younger, I used to get my ass whooped. Yeah, I don't do that no more. I used to get my ass whooped and get punished for like a month. So I would get my ass handed to me and then get punished for like a month every time I got. So I was just scared of him. That's why I never really got in big trouble when I was a kid. So I don't want to get my ass whooped by my dad. You know what I'm saying? Right. Big mean guy. So yeah. So that kind of kept me out of trouble. But they used to go and party. I remember I was young. I was like 11 years old. My dad told me to stand in the corner. I was so scared of him. He went upstairs and was partying. He came down, like, I think it was like 4 or 5 hours later. He's like, what are you doing? And I just started bawling my eyes. Like, you told me not to leave the corner. Da, da, da. Right. And I was just still standing in the corner, you know? So, but the reason I did drugs is because, like, my dad was so mentally abusing and my mom was physically and mentally abusing. Like, my mom, like, split my ear in half on the side of a dresser before. Like, she was just what an alcoholic and drug addict, you know, like a bad, you know, one of them a bad alcoholic and drug addict is, like, that's the definition of what my mom was.
Right.
You know, just literally. I remember I was like 12 or 13, all the way till then. Like, she used to tell me I was a faggot and this. Like, I thought, you know, I was like, I got to a point, dude, I told myself, I was like, listen, if I don't have sex by then, like, I'm gonna start experimenting with boys and maybe I am gay. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how fucked up my head was.
Right.
You know?
So you feel like this horrific environment that's around you. You just feel, what, just lost? You don't feel like you... I think... trying to find, you know what I'm saying?
I was
like
trying to numb pain.
Right, okay.
So that's what I'm getting. I was trying to numb pain, you know, but it don't work that way.
Yeah.
But it's what a lot of drug addicts do.
But you're a kid. You don't, what do you know? You know what I'm saying? Like, what you know is... You know, if I do this, I feel good for a temporary period of time. Then I come back to reality. I function, and then I do it again. So you know, during those periods of time, I don't feel lost, and you know, the pain is numbed, and even though you can't function like that.
No. So that's the thing, though. Like, I was driving around busting. I was drunk. I was on PCP. He pulled up half of the time. We were on Xanax. Driving around, like, God forbid I didn't kill nobody, you know? Like, lucky I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't even know if I could barely walk straight half the time, but I'm driving around all day, you know, selling drugs, you know?
But are you still at home?
Yeah, so at this point, I'm actually staying at my dad's house, right? I'm between staying at his house, getting kicked out, and living out of motels. So I'm 17 years old, I'm like 17 years old living out of motels and then going back there. And the reason me and my dad were beefing a lot is because he's all messed up on pills and now he's selling them. So he's big time, like Oxy 80s, he was selling a lot. Like, he's probably selling like Oxy 80s, like, I don't know, like 100 a day or whatever. Like, he's selling a good amount, you know what I'm saying? For somebody that never did it in his life, you know? Right. So me and him started butting heads because, all right, you're bringing traffic here. I'm going to bring traffic here. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I'm, you know, I'm paying a little bit of rent at this time too. So I'm paying you money. I'm 17 years old and, you know, you're going to bitch at me? Stupid, but, you know. So I just get fed up. I would leave. I would go live in motels, you know. So that was basically my life until I turned like 18, and then my aunt took me and I went over there in this trailer park and was living there, and I was just still doing the same nonsense. But I would stay there too. Like, I don't know, dude. I literally lived in motels for like a year at a young age, like just living in motels and just selling drugs. And
did you think that was going to last forever, or were you thinking?
I didn't know. I knew it wouldn't. Like, dude, like I always had a work ethic, and so I would sell drugs and go to work, but I used to love working. Right. I used to love working. I would go to work, and I think it was just the satisfaction of working hard and getting the money, you know?
Right. It's an accomplishment. It's, you know.
Yeah, it's not quick money. Like, you know, like, this is easy. Yeah. You know? Like, let me go work for my money. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just, even now, like, you know, like, I'm a union carpenter. I'm never laid off, you know? So I just feel like that kind of just speaks for itself, you know? But, yeah, so I'm so messed up at time after losing my brother, dude. Like, I go back to this old town I grew up in, Lindenwold, and, you know, all my friends gang banging or whatever, everybody. So I'm go into that lifestyle, you know, because, you know, everybody, like, these are the people I hang out with. So I never got into gangs, though. But all my friends were, you know, Bloods. You know, when we were growing up, they were Crips. Like, they switched over, like, all that goofy stuff. So I experienced a lot, you know. Like, dude, like, I got shot at before, you know. I was 18 years old when I first got shot at. You know, I had it going right to my head. And that whole situation, the dude actually robbed me for $600 before. And because I gave him money for some weed. So, and he ran off with it. So I seen him. I was staying at this corner store with a couple of my buddies in Camden. And he walked by, and I'm like, damn, he looks familiar. And then I didn't think none of it. And then he goes in his car, and then I'm sitting to one of my buddies, right? And he comes behind me, and I feel the gun. He was like, run your pockets or something like that. And then I'm like, fuck. So I turn around. I'm like, oh, like I try talking myself out. I'm like, yo, like, what's up? Like, where's my money that you owe me? You know, like, it's just stupid. I was trying to talk myself out of it. He's like, I'm not fucking playing. He was like, fucking run your pockets. I'm like, all right, you got that. And I've reached in my pockets, and I just swung at him as hard as I could. Like, it was just stupid because I probably want to do something like that now. Like, I love my life now. Like, I just swung, dude, and I just missed him. It was like a wide hook, and I just missed him. He went like this with the gun and went back. And then I hit the corner, dude, and he just sent off like 4 shots, dude. That was the scariest time in my life, you know. Yeah, and not long after that, dude, like I'm just in and out of like shootouts and just stupid stuff, dude. It's just something.
Did you get hit?
No, I never got hit. No, dude, we did this one thing where we got robbed, dude. We were behind these warehouses. And then we pull up, and there's like 2 different cars there. And I'm like, oh, right away, I'm like, this don't seem right. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be meeting this one dude and his buddy. You know, and there's like...
Meeting for what, like a drug deal? Or
yeah,
just...
so I'm selling drugs. So,
right.
Yeah, so I'm selling them a whole bunch of pills. And they wanted to rob us. And then, dude, fucking... I had me and my 2 buddies in a car. And there was like 2 cars full of loaded people. I'm like, dude, like, let's just go. He's like, nah, they're cool. And we get out and everything, and then they run literally the one. So I'm talking to him in the one car. They run up, right? And as they're running up, I ran and my 2 buddies ran, and we just dropped the shit and ran. And then like we're hiding behind dumpsters, dude, and shit, and they're looking for us. So fucking, I remember we ran from there, and there was this fence. We hopped the fence, dude, and they're just fucking. They just start shooting. I'm like, fuck, man. I'm like, you know, like, I'm like, what the fuck did we get ourselves into? But I was just like, the life I was living then, you know, I was just with the wrong people, you know, a whole bunch of people that probably still aren't doing stuff with their life now, you know.
What happened? How'd you end up at 19? You get arrested, right?
Yeah, so I'm living in and out of motels. I've been at this motel for like 4 months now. And, you know, that was like my spot. Like I was living in a back end motel, you know, and I met like, so, you know, a lot of parolees went there and stuff. So, I meet up with these, dudes, and we used to party there, you know. So we lived in the back, and we all just kind of just chill, drink, you know. They were all older. Like the one dude was like 30 something, and there was 2 40-year-olds. So I actually got arrested for, possession, gun charge, and aggravated assault on a police officer. Aggravated assault happened a month before I got arrested on a gun charge. So I was actually staying at the motel, and I had this toxic girlfriend at the time, and we were together for like 3 years. And I called the cops. I'm like, look, you need to get this girl out of my motel. I said, you know, there's nothing going on. It's just we're breaking up, and she needs to leave, and she's not leaving. So I called the cops and all, and they were like, all right, and they ran my name. So I had gotten in trouble. I got in a fight a year before that in Lindenwold, and the cops. I go to the police station. They call, and they were like, "Yo, like, you got anybody pick you up? Like, you know, we're not pressing charges, nothing." I'm like, "Yeah, my brother picked me up. They didn't give me no papers. They didn't send me nothing, no nothing." And then, not for nothing, I guess I had a court date for aggravated assault, and so I had a warrant. Yeah, I had a warrant for my arrest. So when he ran my name, they were like, and they locked me up. You got a warrant out of Lindenwold for aggravated assault. So I'm walking to the police car with the cops, and then he's like holding, you know, I'm cuffed, and he's holding my arm like this.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, I was like, dude, that hurts. Can you let go of my arm? He was like, what you mean, like this? And he lifted my arm up even harder, right? So I went like this, and he grabbed on me, and I went like this, and I stuck my foot out. He flew over me, and he fell. And then the other cops came running and then trying to tackle me. I'm handcuffed, and then they're trying to tackle me. They finally get me to the ground, you know, and they're fucking mushing me and shit. So I'm handcuffed, and I just start kneeing on him and stuff, like, you know, and we're just tussling on the ground. Well, the one cop got up, jammed his thumb, scraped his knee, you know, all that.
Right.
So, yeah, they threatened to pepper spray me. I was like, all right, I'm done. So I didn't wind up getting pepper spray, but they Yeah, they wound up charging me with aggravated assault on a police officer and everything for that. You know, they attacked me, and then, you know, I think the aggravated assault happened because of the jammed thumb and the scraped knee.
Right.
You know how that goes.
So you're you're 19. You're at the motel.
Yeah.
And what happens?
So that's the aggravated assault. So that happened a month before the gun charge. So now I have the gun charge and possession. I'm at the motel. We're all partying. Well, I used to get drunk, and I would grab my wallet and I would hide it somewhere in my motel because I didn't trust these people.
Right.
So I hid it. I think it was under my microwave at the time in the motel. Well, you know, I got the gun on me and everything. I'm sitting in the motel. I'm like, man, where's my wallet? So I go back to my motel, and I'm all messed up, and I'm like, I can't find my wallet anywhere, dude. I was just started bugging. So I went up to these dudes. One dude was like 35, another dude was 40, and they were fresh out of jail and all. And they were like, oh, you're bugging. I'm like, bro, like, somebody has my wallet. I was like, I know for sure. Like, I just checked my motel. Like, I must have had it on me. I dropped it. And then we started arguing and all. So I pull out the gun and I pistol whip them. Boom. And then we all wind up tussling. And then they wind up jumping on me, beat me up. And then, like, you know, I messed with some of the dudes there. They pulled us together like, yo, just go outside one-on-one. So I go out there, and this big 40-year-old just starts coming up to me. I'm like 19 at the time, like 170, soaking wet. And then I'm backed up against this fence. I'm like, fuck. So he comes up to me, dude, and I just hit him as hard as I can. And then he stumbled back like 5 feet, fell. And then after I pistol whipped him, a girl, they felt scared and called the cops. So I'm out there fighting him the whole time the cops are coming. So when the cops pull up, I give my gun and my drugs to my boy. I'm like, look, leave. I was like, just leave. I said, the cops are coming. So he pulls the car up to the front of the motel and stays. So when the cops came, I see him walking back. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? And he's like, I thought you were going to get jumped again. Like, I didn't want nothing to happen to you. I'm like, fuck, man. So cops, I start talking to them. I'm smoothing them over and everything. And then the cops are like, look, somebody said this stuff is in your buddy's car. We want to search it. And they already searched my motel, and they were just about to leave, and then somebody says something. And then I look over at him, and he's signing the paper to sign it. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me, dude. So they were going through it, whatever, and then I guess he turned the key on the glove box, gun fell out, drugs. I'm like, God damn it. So that was that, and they were like, look, we're locking your buddy up. We know it's your stuff.
Right.
What do you want to do? And I'm like, look, that's my shit. That was that. Dude, I wound up getting, my first offer was a 22 with a 12.
22 what, years?
22 years with a 12. 19 years old.
For what, a felon in possession of a gun? Is it? I don't know.
Nah,
what was the charge?
It was just gun charge, possession, and the aggravated assault on a police officer. That was my first offer, dude. I was in the public.
It does sound bad.
It does.
It does. When you say it like that, it sounds bad.
Yeah, but it's just like,
22,
dude,
that's
like,
outrageous.
What if I didn't know no better and I took that?
Yeah.
You know, what if I was like, that's all I could do? Or I did have a piece of shit public defender. Yeah, pretender. You know what I'm saying? He was a piece of shit, but...
Did he tell you to take the offer? This is your offer.
So I'm in his office and he tells me, dude, I just started breaking down. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I was like, that's it. I'm like, it's over. So he's like, no. Like, we'll work him down. We'll work him down. Yeah. So, yeah. I leave there and then I'm fighting it for like a year, dude. I'm fighting this charge for like a year, and then it was I think it was 10 with a 5 for the longest time. It was 10 with a 5 they were trying to offer me. And I'm like, nah, I can't do it. And I'm like, nah. So I told him, I said, listen, I'll take 3 years. I said, if you can get me 3 years, I'll take 3 years. So at this point in my life, I just turned, I think when I played out, so I went to prison when I was 20. So I just turned 20. And I'm like, look, dude, I said, I'll take 3 years if you get it. He was like, they'll give you 8 with a 3. I'm like, fuck it. So it was stupid, though. I could have got it way down, but whatever. So I took an 8 with a 3. I go down, and I actually wound up doing 3.5 years off that.
Where'd you go?
So state prison, Yardville. That's in Jersey. So the way
nice place,
beautiful, beautiful, yeah, 5-star resort, if you want to call it that. It was gladiator school, so
that's because and you're younger. So the way so Colby, like if you're younger, like they'll give you more points. So they send you to a worse spot if you're younger. You think, oh, he's younger, he shouldn't go to a rough spot, but it actually makes you more of a security risk because younger guys are they're more headstrong, they fight faster, they're quicker to what I'm saying. They're more trouble. So
100%.
Am I right? Okay.
Yeah. So the way they do it in Jersey is, I mean, for some reason, a lot of prisons are closing down in Jersey. But the way they do it in Jersey is if you're 18 to 30, they try keeping you in a prison together. Just because of all of that. Like everybody's fresh in the gang, banging, like you said, headstrong, fighting a lot, and just everything. So I was it's called a youth correctional facility. So it's 18 to 30 years old, so everybody's around the same age group, So I'm in there, and so they had this place called Craft. So that was assessment center. Do you guys go through like an assessment center, or do you guys just go to county and straight to?
No, like they calculate you before they ship you. Like
where you're gonna go?
Yeah, as soon as you're sentenced, it takes them a week to figure out he's going to go here, he's going to go here. I know in most states you go to a center, and there you might stay there for a week, you might stay there for 6 months while they figure out he should go here, he should go here. They do it real quick. In the Fed, so
they got it all figured out. Yeah, so that's what I went through was this assessment center. So it was an old state prison in Trenton, and so I'm there. It's a real rough stop. So guards are all asshole. Like they were killing people. Like it's shut down now, but guards were killing people, beating people up. Like, and so I go there, and like I remember the first time there, I go through everything. I'm processing, and like not for nothing. Like I'm nervous. I'm like fucking like damn. Like and it was like a real jail. Like the bars, everything. Like it was like legit jail. So I'm like fuck. I'm like damn. So I get there, and then they were so strict. So we were all lined up there, like everybody line up, and they break down everything. They say shake us down. They give us our bags, our clothes. So I'm holding them. I put my stuff down. This woman officer started flipping on me. She was like, "What are you doing? You don't put your stuff down unless I tell you to. Pick them up." So I fucking grab them up and everything, and she's still going off. And I'm like, God damn, this is gonna suck. This is jail, like you know what I mean? So, because I didn't do that much time in county.
Right.
They used to have bail in Jersey, and they took it away now. They got the bail reform. I don't know if you guys have bail down here or not.
Yeah, you get bail. Like you get arrested, and they'll put up you got $100,000 bail
10%.
or 300. Yeah, you got somebody comes up with. I mean, I guess they could put up their house or something. But typically, it's 10%.
Yeah, and then you still gotta, depending on how much it is, you gotta put something up just in case you're not making the payments.
Right.
So we had that back. This is 2013. Now they got bail reform where it's a point system. If you get locked up now, you got a point system up to 6 points. 6 being the worst, 1 being the best. It's if you ever missed court, did you ever were on papers, or you ever locked up, and it just
keeps going up and up and up. Yeah. So you get a higher and higher bail, or what?
Well, you don't get a bail. So that's
you don't get a bail. Okay.
You don't get a bail. If you got a high point system, you're stuck fighting your case in county, which sucks for a lot of people.
But still seems reasonable.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like you've been in and out of jail your whole life.
Oh yeah. You're probably gonna go out and get in trouble again,
right?
But even me, like recently, I told you when we were talking before this, like I got in trouble for a fight, and I had a 4 or 5. And I haven't been in trouble in like 10 years. Yeah. Like it's just like, what the hell?
Yeah, I think in the feds, after 15 years, they won't hold it against you. Yeah. That's still 15 years.
Yeah. Even they do, though. I feel like they're not supposed to, but they look at it and they're like, dude, like, come on. But so I go to this place and all, and like they had 2 showers on the tier 2. So when it was shower time, I was only there for like a week. They had 2. So like I said, so I bowed out. I wasn't in county long. Each arrest I did like a week and bowed out at the most, or a couple of days. So I didn't have much county time. I have no much jail time. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I go here, and then they had 2 showers, so they'll let out a whole side, right? They let out a whole side of this tier, and everybody runs down there. So you get in a line. So you got 2 shower heads, you get in a line. You stay in your boxers. Some dudes, are just in the way and get naked. So you're literally like 8 people in front of you, 8 people in one line. You go up to the shower head, get water on, you go to the back of the line. Soap up as you're walking back, and then rinse it all off. Yeah.
God.
So yeah.
It's a conveyor belt.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, so that was like my first experience, like my first shower and thing. I'm like, damn, this is what the fuck it's gonna be like. Like, I should, what the fuck did I do? So, literally, dude, I'm there for like a week, and some dude walks up to my cell. So chow time comes, right? And I had to take a shit real bad, and it came. I told my bunkie, I said, look, I gotta take a shit. Can you just wait a second, to eat? And he was real cool old dude. And he's like, yeah, whatever. So I'm taking a shit. He starts eating. I'm like, all right, whatever. Well, the tier runner there, he was like, starts flipping out on me. He was like, you're taking shit with your bunkie, fucking eating this and third. And I'm like, bro, like, you don't even know nothing. I said, just mind your business. You know what I'm saying? So me and him started going back and forth. He's like, when these doors pop, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna beat you up. So I'm like, all right. Came in, I wanted whooping his ass, right? So, but dude, I'm not even weekending, and I'm like, damn, like, oh, here we go. I got 8 years over my head, like,
All right.
I don't want to do 8 years, I just came home a few years ago, So, yeah, that was my introduction. That place is closed down now, and I think they go somewhere else now for assessment.
Well, where'd you end up going?
It was called Yardville. It was Yardville. It's near Trenton, Central Jersey. Well, there is no Central Jersey. It's
okay.
We don't have a Central Jersey.
Because did I miss something? Like you went to the sorting center, and then you went to Yardville. Yes. Those are 2 different places.
Yes.
Okay. So
the assessment center.
So there for like how long? A week or 2, and then you got.
Yeah, I was there for like a week or 2, and then
you might have said that. I just missed it.
Yeah. Okay, it's fine. So and then I went to Yardville, and then that's basically where I did like the first 2 years there, and like I said, like I was fighting, but like once you get downstate, it's stuff eases down,
You get into a routine, and you get the same group of guys around you. You get to know everybody. You get the routine down, and it's usually, if you're lucky, it's uneventful, right? I mean, am I wrong or?
Yeah, I mean, I was just so high-headed learning about myself, so like. I guess like once a month I'll get in a fight, but it's just what happens, But so I'm there, and like, dude, I'm like, I never really worked out. Like I started working out, and then it got to a point where like, like I started running like big, like 15 people workout groups and everything, doing like a lot of high intensity interval training and just studying that. I just kept my little circle, So I did about 2 years there, went to the camps for like a month, and then I went to the halfway house. So when I was fighting, everybody was, dude, like all the gangs were trying to get me. I don't know if it was the same, like, did you get any fights when you were really locked up? Or
I mean, I wouldn't call it them fights.
Yeah, it was getting a little punch and scuffle.
Yeah, I wouldn't say even punch. Like, I literally was, I've said this before. See, Colby's laughing.
Yeah.
Listen, Rob, I'm not at those places. Yeah. But first, what's so funny about that is I went to a medium, and mediums, it's what you consider a prison. Like, it's the 2 tiers, it's the doors, they're feeding you through the trays, That's what a medium, or the medium at Coleman, looks like. Like, that's what, when people see prison, that's what they think of. It's got 2 tiers, it's got the stairs. I got there, like, I never had any problems there. Because immediately, first of all, nobody wants me in a gang. I'm not going to be any help. I'm not going to contribute much to a gang. I'm not a tough guy. I'm a soft white guy.
Yeah,
but I got there, and I immediately started teaching GED. I had a cousin that was there that had been locked up.
Did you go to college?
Yeah.
I did?
Yeah. So, I have a degree in fine arts, which is, it's a joke. But it's a 4-year degree. I got a degree from USF.
Hey, nice.
But I ended up, when I went there, like, very quickly, I'm working helping teach GED. Like, they have 3 levels of the, whatever your pay grade. I was like the first level. I think I got to I was like first, second, like I was at the 3rd level eventually, but
50 cents a day.
Yeah, exactly. It's nothing. But I went there. I met my buddy, this guy, Zach. I don't know if you've ever seen him. He's a black guy. He was there for fraud too. At the Medium, there wasn't a lot of people for fraud.
Is he on a lot of podcasts?
He's been on probably 4 or 5 podcasts, right? Of my podcast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't 4 or 5.
I might have seen.
Yeah.
I might have. Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Maybe 20. Yeah, he's super funny, bro. Super funny. And but there's not a lot of fraud guys, and so we connect immediately, and he gets me a job working GED, and then maybe within 3 months, I'm teaching the real estate class. So it's like there's stuff going on. You know how they have like in federal prison they have adult continuing education courses. They have courses, right? Like, but typically an inmate's teaching like credit repair. Or I don't know if that's how they do it.
Selling any fraud classes?
No,
that sounds
but do they have that there? Do they have like classes you can take?
They do. Yeah,
okay,
they do.
Do the inmates teach them?
It's hard to get in,
right?
And they keep taking more and more away. Like they took like wood shop, just different,
right?
Just different classes. Like it's just
those are more taught at like the technical part. Like they had a VOTEC. Right. What? They had a VOTEC center at the prison.
Nice.
That's not where I taught. I taught the real estate. Like they have like small business classes. They have real estate classes, but they're all taught by inmates.
Oh, nice.
So I taught the real estate class. So 2-3 days a week, I'm teaching that. During the day, I'm teaching GED. So it's like there's stuff happening at the prison. There are gangs, there are guys getting into fights, there's stabbings, that stuff's happening, but I'm not involved. I wake up in the morning, I go to breakfast, I go immediately to work. I work during the day. I come back before 4 o'clock count. 4 o'clock count comes, you go eat. And after I go eat, I go right back to the library and go to class, and I teach real estate class. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I have a full...
Dude.
I'm busy.
What's crazy is, so they had this thing, TC program. Are you familiar with it? TC? Mm-hmm. So it's a therapeutic community, right?
Okay.
So a lot of people get in it because you get the most money a day. Like tier sand is like $1.25,
right,
or something. And then when you get there, it's like $3 a day or something. I was getting. So I'm like, all right, like, and it helps drop your point system down, because you got in Jersey prison, you got gangmen, which is the lowest. That's going to the camps and going to a halfway house. Then you got medium. And then you have max, which are points. You're not going nowhere. Like, you're a problem.
Right.
There's gangman, medium, whatever. So right away, low, medium, and after, I guess it was a year and a half, I got down to gangmen. So I went to this therapeutic community, literally 7 days a week. You're, programming. You're like, you're not getting a job. You're not getting a job around a jail. You're not like, the only thing you're really doing is going to church and school, and because they did have like the GED and all that there. So somehow I got into that. I had my diploma. They thought I didn't. I go down there, and I got cool with the teacher, and I'm like, started talking to him. I'm like, yo, can I just start coming down here so I ain't gotta go to these groups? He was like, yeah, you be my teacher's assistant. I just can't pay it.
Right.
So basically, he kept it on like a hush-hush, like he kept on a hush-hush that I need a school.
Right.
But I really didn't. I was just going down there and helping them and just hanging out, So I didn't have to, because these groups were stupid, You just program 8 hours a day, just about drugs. Like, outside people come in and teach you, but it's just like, it's about drugs and this and violence. It's repetitive,
Right.
Especially doing it 7 days a week,
The medium thing, like I never got in trouble. I got in trouble at low. At the low, I had it, not a fight though.
Low as far as
low
like camps?
No, low secure. No. So in the feds, you have camps, which has no fence. It's out custody. Like they're not. You have to stay there. You have jobs and stuff, but it's not like a prison. I mean, it is. Prison's prison if you got to be there, but there's no fences or anything. And then you have a low security prison, and that's kind of like a prison, but they don't have cells. You're in like an open bay.
I hate that,
and
though.
It sucks.
I hate that.
And then you have mediums, and then you have penitentiaries, and then you have supermax.
Yeah.
So the prison I was at, which was Coleman, they had a camp, they had a low, they had a medium, and they had 2 pens. So I went to the medium first, not because I have any violence or anything, but because I had so much time. So if you have...
What did you...
I got 26 years. So on 26, you have to do 23. I'd only been locked up. So on 26, I had to do 23. So when I get there, I got 23 years to do. So if you have... You can go to a low if you have under 20. So I got there, and I had to do 3 years there. But I didn't have any problems, right? But then when I go to the low, I still didn't have any problems for years. And then one day, there was a guy. He was like a gang member. Well, not a gang member. He's like a biker guy. I mean, literally had like the biker mustache, shaved head, tattoos. Big guy. He's probably 5'10", you know. Me? Yeah, yeah, but older, way older. He's probably in his probably 50, right? I was probably 30. No, I'm 30. What am I saying? I was probably 40, 45, and he was probably 50 something. And so he was one of the guys that comes in, and he's basically kind of accusing or insinuating that, like, oh, the dude's over there, he's a fucking snitch, or he's a fucking chomo. Or he's one of those guys that's the gossiping. You don't know that. Starting problems. Right. Keep your mouth. Like I always say, like if you get stabbed in prison, you probably had it coming. Yeah. You know, 100%. You ran up a debt. Yeah. That you couldn't pay. You gossiped. You know, you gambled. Yeah. You know, like there are certain things like
you're right on. Yeah. Right?
And guys would when I was going to prison, you know, I was concerned. I was already in jail. I didn't realize jail was worse than prison, but they're like, look, you're not going to get in trouble. Don't talk about people. Be respectful. Don't run up debts. Don't gamble. And I was like, nothing I do anyway. I'm very polite.
Same here. Yeah.
So he, but this guy, so he's that guy that's gossiping and talking shit, and he was doing it so much that this guy Cook that I knew was like he was insinuating shit, and Cook was like sick of it, and Cook was like, I'm gonna have somebody look up this. Something's not right. This guy's going too hard. You know, at a low.
I snitch on the whole
biker. He cooperated against everybody in his case. And prior to that,
it's usually them, ain't it? Dude?
Yeah. Well, prior to that, I don't know how the girl was, whatever. She was 14, 15, something like that. And he was 30 years old. No. And he had been having sex with like a friend's 15, 16-year-old, 14-year-old. I don't know how old she was, but she was young enough that he got a charge and had to go to state prison for not much. You know, they don't get much, like 6 months to a year, and got out. But he had to register, so he's registered with a sex offender. Yeah. So you're a sex offender and you're a snitch. Yeah. Like, and you're walking around calling everybody. Like, it was just a stupid move. Yeah. So my buddy Cook has his thing printed out. His actual like little, you know, they have like a whatever. It's a 1-sheet page. It's got his picture and says, you know, sex offender and like the whole thing from the state of Florida. And managed to get it sent in. Then he goes and comes to me. He's like, yo, bro. He's like, do you have a copy card? Because I always had copy cards. It was like, yeah, why?
What's
He's
that?
Like,
go to the library and copy.
Yeah, you can buy 50 copies on a card for like $3.50.
Nice,
so and you put it in the machine. You can use it up to 50 copies. You got one? I was like, yeah, give it to him. He goes to the library. You know, 50 copies.
Tearing it up.
And goes around pinning it up all over every unit. Goes into every unit. He's pinning it, and he's handing the rest of them out very quickly. This guy's name was Billy. Billy finds it. And Billy starts realizing people, and he sees them.
Oh, yeah. Now you
doesn't know who did it, but he knows he's on blast. Still, he never really talks about it. He gets them all, kind of starts taking them down. Nobody addresses them. Nobody says him because nobody wants any problems there. Yeah. You know, the truth is, you're at a low. Some lows, they'll just walk around pounding on guys.
Trying to get to the next step.
Right. So he ends up, but there was the cracker box, right? The white TV room. You know, you have like the big TV room with the Hispanics and blacks. Yeah. And then they had another little one for Hispanics. And then they had the cracker box for the white guys.
I like that cracker box.
Yeah, it's funny. So but this was 6 months earlier. All that happened, and so what happens is, and I was always fucking with Billy. Everybody's still fucking with him, right? Like you're still saying shit. And you would say stuff like some guy would be leaving, right? Like, yo, bro, I'm going home. You know, I just got my halfway house. And guys are like, oh, man, that's cool. Where are you going? Oh, I'm going to Tampa. Oh, yeah, I've been there before. You know, they're all talking in the cracker box. And Billy would say something like, yeah, I don't keep in mind, at that time, I think now sex offenders can go to halfway houses in Florida.
I think depending on his like
severity
of the situation. Yeah.
But back then, Florida halfway houses, federal halfway houses, weren't taking them. No matter what. Now, I think now they can, but depending on severity.
They should, though.
So he said, and he was from Florida. I remember one time we're sitting there, and he's, and you know, we're all watching TV, but people's talk, you know, they're all just talking. You're just sitting there trying to listen to TV. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm not even going to take halfway house. He goes, I don't know. I'm not even sure where I'm going to go yet. When I get released. Well, he was saying just in general, where he's being released in general. I'm not even sure where I'm going to be released to. I go, well, I know where you're not going to be released. And he goes, what's that? I said, I know where you're not going to be released. He goes, where's that? I said, anywhere near a daycare, a park, a church, and he's like, fuck you, Cox. And he'd get up and open the door and walk away. But he never did anything, right? Because, you know, we don't, you know, like that somewhere else that might get you, you know, one, it's true.
Yeah.
So anyway, one time, so here's what happened. One time I'm sitting there watching TV, and it's only like me and there's 3 other guys in the room. And we're sitting there, I'm watching TV. And you know, the humor in prison's weird, right? Yeah. Like the guys say weird shit. Yeah. So I'm watching TV and this chick is walking down the beach, you know, in a bathing suit. And Billy's behind me. He goes, well, you wouldn't know what to do with that, would you, Cox? And I go, shit, I got a better chance at hitting that than you do. Yeah. And he sat there and he goes, he said, oh, I want to fuck something. I'll knock your ass out and fuck you. And I said, shit. I said, I'm a little bit old for you. I go, plus I have my GE. I go, plus I have my high school diploma. And he just jumps up and bitch slaps me. Bow! Like he's behind me. Yeah. And I mean, bam! And at first, do you remember in prison, I don't know about state, but do they walk around with their chairs? Because we get a plastic chair. You'll put it on your head and you walk around with it to walk into someplace, and then you put your chair down. That way you're not trying to carry it. Yeah. Because the hallways are small.
We don't, no.
Yeah. So
metal seats. We have metal seats.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Well, I thought someone had walked in the room and dropped their chair accidentally. So initially, I remember thinking, like, where's the chair? And I get up, and he's standing there like this, and I go, you fucking piece of shit, you motherfucker. And I'm just standing there, and we start screaming at each other, and then he turns around and just walks off. And I sit down and I go, fucking piece of shit. Because this is funny, too, because you would think that's a big deal. But really, in prison, it's not that big of a deal. You sit down, you just keep watching TV. Yeah. You know, you go right back to it. So I sat down, and my buddy, Paul, is looking at, he looks at me, you all right? I went, yeah, I'm fine. And he goes, nah, bro, you're not fine. He's going to go in the bathroom. He's going to go take a look at yourself. And I went, the fuck does that mean? So I go in the bathroom. Half my eye is bloodshot. Like it's blood. Oh, he blew right. And I was like, fuck. And there's 3 guys in the room, you know, good and well. Nobody's going to they're going to start talking. Even if they're not trying to get me in trouble, they're going to say something. Oh, I was in the fucking hood. Oh my God, you were in there? What happened? Oh yeah. Next thing you know, and sure enough.
It's quick when the tear finds out, dude. It's like high school. It's literally like high school.
It is.
Man, jail and prison.
It's a big gossip fucking set. So this is at 10 o'clock in the morning. Oh, it's like 9 o'clock. Because then they have 10 o'clock count. Cop walks right by. I don't, just keep my head to this. By 4 o'clock, they do 4 o'clock count. No big deal. They count me. And then right after 4 o'clock count, they don't call like, okay, count, and they'll let everybody go. Or clear. They don't do clear. They just sit there and they go, Billy, whatever his name, Robert, whatever his name is, come to the thing. He was the head orderly though. So I thought,
what's that?
The head guy that tells everybody what to clean this. He's got a bunch of guys behind him. They mop.
Right,
they do.
So yeah.
Head,
tier runner. Basically.
Is that what they call him? Tier runner. Yeah. Tier runner. They call him a head orderly. So he's, or orderlies. He had people under him. They call Billy and then they go, Cox, come to, I thought, no. I go to the fucking little office in the front. I walk in, there's 2 fucking guys from SIS. They're like internal security and the fucking CO.
They ran the cameras back already, didn't they?
They didn't even have to. I walk in and he's holding 4 cop outs. which is like a note you can put in. You can put a note in, a cop out, like it's a note to the guard or asking to be moved somewhere, whatever, you know. So they put down 4 people wrote on cop outs, hey, there was a fight between Billy and such and such.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah, just telling you. So sure enough, I walk in, I said, yeah, what's up? And I'm kind of looking sideways. He said, no. He moves like, no. He said, and Billy's standing there like just, you know, looking at the ground, and he says, so you two got into a fight, and I thought fight, and I go, whoa. I said, there was no fight, bro. There's no fight. I said, fight insinuates that I fought back. Yeah. I said, I was assaulted. Yeah. I said, that's different, like that. And he sat there, and Billy goes, damn, Cox is like that. I said, we're friends now. Yeah. I said, fuck you, bro. Yeah. Like that. Like if I'm about to go to the shoe, I'm not going for a fight. Yeah. I'm going to be in there for 60 or 90 days for a fight. I was assaulted. Fuck you. Like we're not friends.
Up everything. Yeah.
Yeah. No. So, I'm not a soldier. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to fucking stay strong. I ain't going to rat you out. Fuck you. You bitch splat me. Yeah. So, so we both, he ends up going, he goes to the medium and I go to the pen. Because our shoe was closed. They were redoing the shoe, the hole in the low. So they send him to the medium.
What is the pen?
It's a penitentiary. There was 2 penitentiaries. So they sent me to the pen shoe.
Yeah.
Look at me, bro. Can I go to a pen? I can't go to a pen. And I mean, when we're on the way there, I'm handcuffed.
Is that open too? That in there? Is it pretty open in there? The pen?
I mean, I never.
Is it pen?
Penitentiary.
It's pen, you're saying?
Yeah.
You go to the pen? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm saying it's a penitentiary. It's like it's a whole nother prison.
So you get shipped to a whole nother prison within this prison?
Yeah, okay, so I'm in what's called a correctional facility. They have 2 penitentiaries.
I didn't get that.
Okay. Then they have a medium security prison.
So, they're all different.
Every one of them's different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
And then you have a whole nother prison. There's 5 prisons.
So you're going to jail. Yeah,
so they put me in a fucking van. I haven't been outside in fucking years. Yeah. So they put me in the van, they drive me to the pen, I go through, they do the whole thing. It's way more security. And when we get to the shoe, as they're walking me out, I'm looking at the inmates. They've got the inmates in cage. They have to let them out like once a week or something. They give them like an hour. And I'm looking at the fucking inmates. These aren't low inmates, bro. These are serious guys. They got tattoos all over their face. Yeah. They're walking around like
crazy motherfuckers. Yeah, like in the movies or something.
In a little 10-foot by 5-foot cage. They're walking back and forth, all like. And I mean, there's like 10 of them, 10 cages. There's a big thing, and I'm thinking, oh fuck no. And as soon as I walked in, I looked. I said, bro, you can't lock me up with one of these guys. And the cop goes, he said, no.
You try.
He said, no, Cox. He said, we got a nice, clean cell for you. Oh, he said, by yourself. I already got some books picked out for you. You're going to be fine.
Oh,
I said, yeah, bro, don't fuck with me. He said, it'll be fine. He said, don't get me fucked up, bro. He said, no, I know.
Hey, wow.
I go in. I was there 24 hours. Like within 24 hours, they got me right back out, right back to the low.
Yeah, nice.
Now I lost my cell. Okay. But that was it. That was like the only time I had any real problem at all. Like, that was it. I mean, there were screaming matches, but that's
sometimes, though, because it's just like you could just be minding your own business. And then, like, I can't tell you how many times I'm just minding my business. Somebody's just having a bad day or they're just in the way. And it's just like, fuck, dude. Now I got to fight. It's just, like. I just had that mentality. I had a fight, dude. It was just stupid. Like, if I would have gotten in trouble or something, like, it would have messed my whole bit up.
Yeah, no, I listen, by the time you get to the low.
You, though, dude. Like, like, you got places to go. Like, you're comfortable. Like, you don't, I get it.
Yeah, I want to go anywhere. Hey. I was pissed I lost my cell.
Hey. Was it single cell or was it a double cell?
So it was that open bay, but they have cubicles, right? The guys call them cell. I'm going to my cell. It's a cube.
Nice.
It's like there's a little square, and then you've got either 3 beds in there, or one's a bunk bed and then one's a single, and some of them are just like 2-man beds. 2 beds.
Oh, so when we were in our camps, it was kind of like that. Was there a wall between it? Like
yes,
beds, wall, beds, wall.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's
you were cool with them people in there.
What?
that you're sleeping with, basically, right?
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, you know, you can get yourself moved into a different cube. You know, you can go in, like if you get in with somebody you don't want to be in with, you know, you're like, oh, this guy's a problem, or we don't get along, or then you can usually get yourself, say, hey, you find somebody who's leaving, or somebody, hey, can we move here? And you go to your counselor and you give them a cop out. Hey, look, can you have me moved here? And that usually he would say, well, get the other guys to sign off on it and I'll move you. And then you go and you get them to sign. They come. Oh, yeah, because they're like, look, I don't want to put you in with that guy. Like my buddy Pete
don't like you.
Well, my buddy Pete was here the other day, and it's like, well, if that guy is like, you know, like if you're a whatever, we were talking about a biker the other day. Like he's a biker, you can't. And he was like, you can't put like, and the cell that was open had a guy that was a former cop. He's like, you can't put me in with a former cop, you know, or you can't put me in with a sex offender, or you see what I'm saying? Like there's some guys that are just like, I'm not going to be okay with this. Like this is going to go bad.
Yeah, it's going to make it worse, or you're going to mess up my bed.
Right. So usually the guy that kind of juggles that is the head orderly on behalf of the counselor.
Billy?
The what?
Billy's in charge of
it? Yeah, Billy. Billy was gone though.
Yeah. I know.
And you know what's so funny about that? Billy stayed in the shoe for like 6 months because he didn't want to, they were going to move him to the medium. He didn't want to go to the medium. In the medium, his
tough guy though.
And his co-defendants were in the medium. So his co-defendants said he cooperated again. So he's like, one, you can't move me there. And they're like, well, you've got 6 months. We're not shipping you to another. We're not shipping, you know, one, we're going to keep you here for 4 or 5 months for the fight. So we're not going to ship you to across the country to another prison. No. So we'll just keep you in the shoe. He's like, keep me in the shoe. So they released him from the shoe.
Wow.
But yeah, he had problems.
I'm sure he did. I hope he learned to keep his mouth shut eventually, though.
He's such a jerk off. But
poor Billy.
Yeah, poor Billy.
Hope he's doing good.
Yeah, I'm sure he's fine. So I'm sorry, bro. No, like, you know what's gonna be in the comment section? Cox, stop talking about your fucking self. But you asked.
I asked.
You asked.
I did ask. On his defense, I did ask.
Yeah.
I should save it for another time. I'm very interested.
So
what a story.
So when you got out, so what happens?
So the reason we were talking, not to cut you off, is I got asked to join every gang when I was in there, dude.
Right.
And I just stayed neutral. It's not for me, dude. Like, I got bigger and better things I want to do with my life, you know.
But you could end up catching whole nother charge.
They're all stunt dummies anyway. Anybody usually joins a gang. Like, even though I was around, like, a lot of buddies I grew up when all were in there and stuff, like, at the end of the day, like, you join a gang for protection or you're already in a gang, you know? Like, they want me to get in the gang because I could fight,
right?
You know? Or, you know, so what am I going to do? I'm going to share my canteen with people I don't like, and, you know, that's what they do. Somebody's in need, they give them stuff. Like, no, I got my own little crew. You know, I'm just going to keep to myself.
There's no benefit to you.
I don't want to talk to you guys anyway, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
well, there's no benefit to you, and you could just end up getting into more trouble.
That's what it would have been.
Yeah. Guys end up going in, they end up stabbing somebody or fucking somebody up, and now they get another 5 years out of their sentence. It was like, I'm never getting out of here at this rate.
It's just, nah, dude, I got bigger and better. Just let me keep, I like, just different code, like different books. I don't want to say it, but different, like this one gang, they slid on there, like, listen, like, this is our principles and everything. You read through it, you know, if you read it, like, you gotta join it.
They're recruiting.
Yeah, I read it. I was on my back. I read it. I'm like, damn, like, this is crazy. Like, they go by a lot of, like, Christian stuff and everything. And it's just, like, 50-something, like, principles they go by and just different codes. And I'm just, like, fucking, like, this shit's crazy. I was just interested, though. I'm like, yeah, I just stayed out of it. But, yeah, so that's why I asked you. But I didn't join any gangs. So crazy story is I do go to camps. I go to camps. I'm there for a month, and outside detail, which is great. They're taking us like, so I'm up like Central Jersey, and they're taking us like to Jersey Shore, like, you know, to show Jersey Shore.
Yeah,
they're taking us over there, and you know, like we'll cut grass and all, and if we're getting stuff done, they'll take us like for like an hour drive like along the boardwalk and everything, which was pretty cool. We didn't have to do that, you know. So I'm cutting grass. I'm the weed whack guy, because if you're weed whacking, cars are driving by and you just go like this, and they're throwing cigarettes and all, and I'm coming back and I'm breaking them down and selling them. You know,
right?
That's one thing, dude. It's just like, I might not be rich, but I just can never be broke. You know, because I just like, I need money. You know, there's things I want to do. I like enjoying life and I like things. So it's like I always got to hustle or do something. You're a hustler. Yeah. I'm a hustler, you know. So I was doing that. My ex was bringing up a lot of pills and tobacco to me and balloons, you know, hook up with her and then poop it out, or we would all huddle up. Everybody would huddle up after the visits, take one by one. So like, yo, dude, stand in front of me, and then, you know, Vaseline, stick it right there, and boofing it.
Horrible. Yeah. Horrible, bro.
So I'm doing that. I know. So I was one of them. I'm boofing fucking big packs and everything, so whatever. So yeah. So I'm in the camps at this time. I'm getting ready to go to halfway house, and then then I go to another assessment center when I leave the camps. And this is like boot camp, like shirts tucked in, no working out in the room, no talking in the hallways, and everybody's snitching on each other, like, if there's anything going on, like, so, whatever. And, you can't share food. Like, if you're in the cafeteria, like, dude next to you doesn't want to eat his food, he has to throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
There's no swapping food, no none.
There's no, you need that biscuit? No, none of that, no.
Nah.
Did you ever, when you were, like, did you ever have, we used to call them a contract. Like, you'd have an agreement. On Wednesday, you know, I'll take your scrambled eggs and you can have we got a contract. Yeah. So from here on, yeah, no, we're good.
100%.
Yeah.
Especially this last time around, dude, I was contracted out. I had a store. I always had a store too. I always had a store, like, you know, like I would always just coffee, everything. So I would sell coffee and have a store, you know, 1 for 2. I feel like I always did so good with the store, though, is because I would take the risk of 2 for 3 or stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's a lot easier now because you got Cashapp. So I could just sell you a bag right out front. Like, you know, send me 60 Cashapp. I'll give you $40 worth of food, $45 worth of food.
So somebody on the street's doing that?
Yeah, they do it. Cashapp, like, my fiance, like, when I just did 7 months, which I'll get into, when I just did that, she had a Cashapp, and dude, I would get like 5 max outs. Would be going in like 2 days. She would just get $50 here, $100 like that, you know. And it was just.
So how does that work? You tell them the Cashapp, and then they tell their people on the outside to send money there.
Yeah, so I'll tell them the Cashapp. They'll call their peoples, and then after they say, all right, my people said it went through, then I'll call my girl, be like, yo, did you get that? She'll be like, yeah, all right, cool. Here's your bag. All right.
How long does that whole transaction take for you guys to?
Couple minutes, just a phone call. You get on, they get on.
You can just get on the phone whenever.
Yeah. So, the only time you lock down is really like chow time. Yeah. Chow time's the only time you lock down, and then when you go to bed at night. But you know, out all day, especially the last one I was in. Like county, like that's county though. Like prison, it's a lot harder. But I think it's easier now though. I mean, when I was in prison, you didn't have you didn't have a tablet. You didn't, like, did you guys have tablets?
I didn't, but they do now.
Dude, they got tablets now. It's crazy. You got movies on there. You could make your phone calls from there. You could do video visits on there. Like,
I don't know exactly what's on the Fed. I'll check. But I'm going to check, because that's a good question. Because I do know, I have heard someone say they have tablets, or the tablets were coming, but I still don't know what they're going to make available.
Dude, it's a game changer. Like, so when I just did this 7 months, I'm in county. Like, I'm watching movies. Or if I'm in my cell, I'm watching movies. And when I'm out, I'm working out and maybe just shooting the shit a little bit. But
that's like cutting your time in half. The entertainment value is fucking. Even when we had iPods.
It's expensive, but I had a store, so it's paying for itself.
So you understand what a store is? Like a store is like he basically has everything that you have to go once a week. Let's say to commissary. Well, in the feds, I don't know. In the state, you can go like every day sometimes, or once a week.
No, once a week.
Right. So he's basically got his locker, or his and probably a few other people's lockers are holding, like, they're holding sodas for him, potato chips, you know, honey buns, like a whole bunch. He's got like almost everything that you could buy at the canteen or at the commissary. And so guys in the unit will come and be like, man, I'm hungry, bro. You got a honey bun? And he'll go, yeah. He'll give you a honey bun, but you owe him 2 honey buns. You know, so you owe me 2 honey buns. So when that guy goes to commissary, he gets 2 honey buns, or if he builds up enough of a debt, that guy can get on the phone and call his sister or a buddy of his, say, can you cash app this dude $25? And they'll go, yeah, no problem. Debt, yeah. And then he talks to his girlfriend 2 hours later, and she's like, oh, yeah, I got $25, I got $40, I got $37. And he knows what it is. That's Timmy, that's Bob, that's Bill.
And I'm keeping track of everything, so no problem.
Are you able to start with like big inventory, or do you got to like slowly build up your inventory?
There's risk involved too, because especially county, there's like so many fights and everything. So luckily, this run I was cool, but like downstate's a little bit unriskier. But you have you have a limit. So every time you order, it's like $200 limit. Right. You have a 200, so you can only order $200 worth of food, which ain't a lot. You know, like depending where you're at, like a soup's like 60 cents to $1.10. You know, like it's expensive. So you're getting. It's hard to build up your store, you know, just yourself. So I got to take the risk of my people, put money on other people's books and hoping they don't do nothing stupid and get sent off to a different tier. Or just put a cop out in, like he said, to get switched to a different tier.
Right. Guys will run up debts. Like some guys that know they're going to be transferred, they'll go for 2 weeks beforehand and just run up debts with they'll have storemen in every unit. Not in county, obviously you leave the unit, but in prison. So this guy will owe this guy $100, this guy $150, this guy $200. He'll run up $1,000, knowing on Monday I'm going to be packing. I'm packing out. I'll be on the pack out on Monday, and I'm leaving. I don't owe these guys nothing. You know that unfortunately sometimes that will follow them. Like there'll be some guy that will leave and go
where to go. Oh, 100%.
And then he'll show up and say, "You see that guy? He owes fucking over $1,000 a store, guys. He's a piece of shit." And then nobody will give him anything. No. No, I heard what you did in Lompoc or whatever. But I was going to say, the other thing is at 50%, you can take a hell of a loss. You know, I mean, I'm saying at 100% return. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's face it. Like, even if you get hit, you're making a ton of money.
Like, I know people got hit, and it's like this time around, especially 7 months, I shut down every store on my tier, like, because I was 2 for 3 and I think I was just because I'm not gang affiliated or nothing, like, so nobody has that. They're not scared of, like, oh, like, I'm going to get over on you, like, because I feel like with the gangs, it's just, like, they put a lot of pressure on people, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, like, I didn't have that baggage with me, but.
I got a question with the store. So, like, I guess at the end of when they're getting out, like, is there a way to, is it making actual cash, like the Cashapp, like, is that
straight Cashapp
building up? Or, like, at the end, let's say when you're done, okay, you got 3 lockers full of food. Like, what do you do with all the food?
So I
was going to say, but you know you're leaving.
I knew I was leaving when I was in county. I knew even in state, so what you do is you get to a certain point and you sell it. So say it's worth $100 on commissary. I'll say, look, take all this and then give me 70, right? Most of it's all free money anyway that I made profit off of. Right. So people are going to jump on that. Here, this is what I got it for. Like, here, last time I did it. So I had like $500 worth of food, right? I got it all together, right? And I said, listen, I got $500 worth of food. Give me $550, and you're going to make a lot of profit off it.
Right.
You know, and dude, literally, I had everybody like, oh, let me get that. You know, and I'm like, look, dude, I'm already locked in with him. If it falls through, then I got you. I said, but so I made profit the whole time I was there. Most of that $500 was profit, and then I made an extra $50 at the end. You know, and everybody's like, oh, you're leaving, just give it away. You know, like, no, bro. Like, I got kids and I got bills out there. Like, I ain't do this for nothing.
Like that Cashapp money, are they putting back on your books to spend inside, or are they just? Like,
he doesn't have to. He's got a store. He doesn't. He's got plenty of He doesn't need anything unless it's for what?
For the tablet. That's
I was just gonna say. I was gonna say for emails.
You got that now,
or phone.
So that's like a monthly payment you had to do for the tablet.
Just whenever you run out of it. So it gets expensive. So it's like as soon as you log on to this app, like they have a $5 app and then they have a $3 app. The $5 has better movie. I'm at the 5 cents. A 5-cent app and a 3-cent app, which is 5 cents a minute and 3 cents a minute. So as soon as you log on that app, your time's spinning. So every minute they're charging you 5 cents. So 5 times 60, that's $3 an hour.
Right.
Which can get expensive if
you watch a
movies.
2-hour movie. Yeah, that's going to be $6 every time you do it. But I was going to say, listen, I knew guys that were sending home $1,000 a month on their store. So they're sending home money every single month because there was an old Cuban guy who had 2 or 3 stores in different. He had like 3 stores, one in our unit and then one in like 2 other units, right? And I mean, every day. This happened because every day different people go to commissary. Like everybody, you can't send 1,800 guys to commissary the same day. So you have your day. Every day he sat in his cell, and if this is his bed, it would be piled up with food. And I would come in, I'd get stuff from the store guy. I'd come in with my bag, and I'd walk in, and I'd say, hey, what do I owe? And because usually they give you a list.
Yeah.
And so, he would turn around and he'd open up his book and he'd go, oh, okay, what he barely spoke English. He'd go, oh, well, you owe 3 honey buns. And here's 3 honey buns. And he'd go, 2 sodas. And I give him the 2 6-packs of soda. Yeah. And then, I start counting. And then I'd say, they don't have this. He'd go, no, I know. I'll leave it on the list. And he'd be like, okay, you still owe this. And he'd be like, okay, you're good. Yeah. But I mean, he'd have 10 honey buns. He'd have, 6 bags of potato chips, 6 bags of another potato chip, 6 bags, a huge, 20 different Keefy coffees, creamers. He'd have his bed is packed up, and now he can't put this in his locker. So they've gone down too. Yeah, other people putting shit in their locker for him.
It's a lot of risk, but there's a lot of reward if it works out.
2 questions, why people are buying from the store guys just because they run out of the normal.
They run out. It's available.
What if somebody steals a book, lose their accounting book, and they lost their records of their debts? Do people do that?
I don't know that he's ever lost one. I got an example of this, but
I mean, usually you keep or you feel like somebody is I'm gonna run down look, bro, I think you owe me something. That's what I would say. I'll run up to somebody and be like, oh, you owe me something. No, I don't. I'm like, no, you definitely owe me something, and I'll think of something. Usually they'll tell me, what I'm saying? But
now, did you have a book? Did you have a book where you keep it all?
So with all my mail though, I gotta write on different pieces of paper. I don't, because I gotta get rid of it. I gotta also
you're not allowed to have.
No, technically,
so it goes with my mail. It goes with my mail.
Yeah,
they know that. They know as a store who don't. They see they got cameras everywhere. They see the movements.
I was gonna say I had a guy one time who was a bookie, so it was different. But he came to me one day in a panic. Black guy. His name was Chauncey. It was a black guy with the name Chauncey. Yeah. So he comes to me one day. He walks in, he goes, Cox. And you could tell, this is a very cool guy, right? Black guy, very cool. He actually had probably one of the only grills that I actually thought, that kind of looks, I would never get one, but it's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? He actually had his tooth was outlined in silver and white gold or silver. I don't know what it was, or platinum, whatever. And then he had diamonds in each tooth. But this guy also had a ton of money.
Makes you want to get one?
No, but it worked for him. So he comes over to me, and I'd never seen him panic before, and he's panicked. He's like Cox, and I go, yeah, what's up? He said, he goes, the James Patterson book? He said, Beaches, and I went, or The Beach, and I went, yeah. He goes, do you have it? Mm-hmm. And I went, no, I don't have it. He said, look, he goes, because I saw that you had it a couple months ago, and I went. Yeah, I said, that was months ago. I said, I don't even think I read it. I said, I don't even read James Patterson. I said, I think that was my Cellies. And he's like, okay. I said, well, did you look in the library? Because we had an internal library, right, in the unit. And he goes, it's not there. I said, okay. He said, well, if you find it, bring it to me, okay? He said, I'm telling you now, I'll make it worth your while. Just bring it to me. I was like, okay. I was like, if I come across it, I said, it's got to be here somewhere. So I know, bro. I'm just saying, please, okay, all right? And I was like, okay. And he walked off. And I thought, the fuck is going on with that? What's in that book? And
it had his
list in it.
Yeah.
And so here's what happened.
Wow.
So, and I even asked him, I even said, I went to his cell later, I think, and I asked him, I said, bro, what's up with the book? He said, okay. He said, he said, I got a guy that keeps my locker for me, keeps it clean. He said, well, the other day he went in my locker and he cleaned it out. And he saw that the book had been there for a while. And so he just went and put it in the library. He goes, I obviously, you know what I got in the book. I said, okay. And he said, I got something. He said, I obviously had something in the book. And by the time I got back and I saw the book was gone, I flipped out and he told me what he'd done. And I went in the library, it's gone. And he said, so I'm just asking everybody. I said, okay.
He's losing it. Yeah, he's losing it. His mind's going crazy right now.
Going nuts. I would say a week later, I walk into somebody's cell. I'm like, hey, man, what's going on? I think it was this guy, Frank. I was like, hey, Frank, what's up? And he's like, nothing. He opens up his locker, and there's the book. And I said, are you going to read that? And he said, I was going to. He said, but why? You want to read it? He said, you want it? I said, yeah, let me have it. Took it. I walked over to Chauncey's cell, and I said, yo, what's up?
Did you look at the paper?
No, I never even opened it. I know what's in it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I said, hey, I said, did you ever find that book? He goes, fuck, no. No, bro. He goes, you have no idea how much fucking money that just cost me. He's like, I'm trying to I'm trying to recreate. He said, recreate it. He said, fuck, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I said, man, I bet you feel pretty good. Boom. I put the book out. I said, if you could find it. He goes, oh my God. Oh my. And he grabbed it. And he turned around, he slipped around. And he's like, oh my God. He goes, he was just like, did you look in it? And I went, because he must have had the exact amounts. Like, I have a feeling if I looked at it, it was probably 10 or 20 grand. That's
why I was asking.
He was a bookie, and he was a big time bookie, right? And he's like, did you look at it? And I went, no. He said, you have no idea how much fucking money's in here, do you? I said, no. And he said, bro, you ever fucking need anything? Right. Do you understand? Ever need it? He said, matter of fact, he said, what, do you need anything? I said, I don't need nothing. He's like, anything you need, you let me know. Anything. And I was like, all right.
Yeah, I get it.
So what do these guys gamble? Like, what do they play?
They play. These guys will run up.
Really poker, but
they will run up
and everything. Yeah.
But they will run up debts. I mean, you can't fucking believe the amount of money they'll run up.
Yeah, you're talking about thousands, easily. In a day, just like the casinos, it's same thing. Just like casino, you rip up cards, you rip up some, you make chips, and you're playing. Blackjack, they get a box, like a Pop-Tart box or something, and they make it just like at the thing where they, you know what I'm saying? They get it all going, dude, and
it's amazing. It's amazing what they can do and how perfect. And they'll have tables and they'll have people cater. They'll cater it. Like guys come around with chips and sodas, and you buy in and guys are coming up to you. Hey man, you want to comfortable? It's all free,
dude. Criminals are so smart.
Yeah, the guy running the table, he's like, nah, it's all free, bro. They want to keep you there. Yeah. They want to keep you happy. At least he's going to feed me sodas while you're losing your fucking ass. Yeah. Or maybe you're making money.
Are they using real cards or they got to make cards?
No, they have real cards.
Real cards, yeah. Like fresh cards, too. So they're buying, they probably got a whole bunch of decks in their cell or people are holding on to them. But,
they'll make chips.
Every fresh cards. As soon as they start going, nah.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of money involved. So it's just like a casino,
especially in federal prison. You know what I'm saying? They've got
a lot of money, a lot of
some of them
white collar crimes and stuff, right?
Some of them do. And there's mobsters. There's old mobsters, and then there's drug dealers that that really make. I was locked up with who Big Meech is. Yeah. So there's Big Meech and his brother. I forget his brother's name, but I was locked up with him. They had a ton of money, and he's not. And there are guys there. There was a guy there named Lance Paulson, and I think he had lost like $1 billion or something. I mean, it was insane. Some of these Ponzi schemes guys, they come in, they owe $50 million, $20 million. Obviously, if you're at that level, even if you're in debt, it doesn't matter. The people you don't need to know anybody in federal prison. If somebody's sending you $500 a month, you're rich. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So these are people that are making.
You really can't even spend that.
Yeah, I mean, they have hundreds of dollars in there. So if you're like, hey man, I'm going to be in federal prison, can you send me $500 a month? I'm so sorry, bro, but we're for $500 to some guy who's making $400,000 a year, or $1 million a year, or is already a multimillionaire. It's like, of course I'll send you $500. What do I care?
Especially if you got a couple of them.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's I'll have him. These 3 people will send me $500 a month, and then So it's not. So I'm just asking for $500 a month early.
Right. And then
but I'm getting $1,500.
And then so that guy can certainly run up some. He gets to gamble the whole time he's there. He gets to have somebody make his bed. Somebody can bring him food. He doesn't have to go to chow hall. He can have somebody make him food. Buy his. He doesn't even have to go to commissary. You know, he's going to put $500 on your books. You can go to commissary and I'll give you $100.
Yeah.
Guys do that all the time.
100%.
You know, and I would have guys because I almost never. I think maybe one time I maxed out commissary once.
Yeah. Why is that?
I just didn't. I just even if I had the money on my books, like
a lot of it's junk food, right?
It's junk food. Yeah. I don't eat. I ate at the chow hall. I wouldn't either max out, to be honest with you. I'm more like, even when I had my store, everybody's like, dude, you got a store, like, cause I want you all. So I want all your cakes. I want all your bread. You know, I'm working. I'm trying to get my weight up. You know, right. So I'm. You know, cakes, breads. I was like what is it, a garbage disposal. Like if you weren't eating it, I want it, and I was putting it in myself for later. Like whatever it was, I had a whole bunch of bowls. I was just filling up, and I would just eat throughout the day. You know, and everybody's like, you got a store, you got this. I'm like, yeah, dude, but it's all junk, and like I'm not gonna eat a $5-6 chili. I'm not. It's all carbs.
I'll make a hookup like every now and then, dude, but. Yeah, that's another thing though too. Like my first go around, dude, they used to say like you're the only person I ever met that tries dieting in prison. Like I would literally try dying. I was just, it's impossible. Yeah, you know, I wash all my food, all the sauce, all the stuff off it and everything. Put salt and pepper on it, like my own stuff, adobo and all, like, yeah.
Yeah, when I got out of prison, I weighed 149.
You got out?
Huh?
You got out?
When I got out. Yeah, the last 6 months. I lost like 25 pounds, maybe 30 pounds. I think it was like 180 or something. I got down to 150. I lost like 30-something pounds.
Why?
Just because I just knew I was going to get out. Like, you know, I wasn't really taking care of myself while I was there. I mean, I'd walk the track periodically, but really it was the last 6 months to a year, let's say, I started working out because I knew I'm getting out. Like, hey, you're going to make it. You know what I'm saying? It's the first time I'm like, they're actually going to let me out. So, you know, I lost weight. I got in shape, and it wasn't because like I got out because I wanted to, you know, meet some chick or this and that. Because I kind of felt like that part of my life was over. Does that make sense? I was getting out. I'm 49. I'll be 50 by the time.
Okay.
So I felt like I'm 50 years old, broke. That's over.
Yeah.
You're not finding anybody. That's don't even think about that.
Yeah. You thought just how am I gonna just?
Yeah, I'm just gonna try and rebuild my life.
Yeah.
That's fine. So, but I did. I thought also you can't leave 30 fucking. You know, you should probably be about $1.60. Maybe $1.70 at most.
Would you have like a little band?
Yeah, of course.
I know.
So I started losing weight, but then, you know, it was coming off really easy. And so I was like, I'm going to get down as low as I can, because you go to halfway house, you're going to gain 15 pounds, which is what happened. By the time I got to that halfway house, I'm 165, you know? So, yeah, but I was going to say, other than that, you're right. I was just eating, you know, I'm just trying to keep myself fed, eat good, you know, do whatever, but I still didn't have a lot of money coming in. So I didn't buy a lot of stuff on commissary. You know, periodically I would have somebody like, hey, if I send you $100, will you buy me $80 in commissary? I'm like, yeah, sure.
And then you make money.
Yeah, I make $20 and, you know, but I wasn't.
Do that for people. Well, that's
a hustle. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about the store. Like that's how you do it. So I would order on your stuff. I try getting as low as I can. I'm greedy. Offer them like $10 at first. But like, you know, come out like 12. I'm like, all right, that's cool, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll try getting a dude that really needed it, and $10 would like make his day, you know?
Right.
But yeah, it's a good way to make money, you know, because every week you get in that contract with somebody, right?
Yeah.
You know, so.
You can. I mean, I did it periodically, very seldom. Yeah. And, you know, most of the guys I knew had money. So, yeah, I think Tommy might have put money on my books a few times, and I go to commissary for him. But there's a buddy of mine, Tommy, he had a bunch of money. It's funny too, because I was getting out with nothing. Like I would remember getting out of prison, I was going to get out, and the card they were going to give me, you know, they give you the plastic card with your money on it from your books. It charges like $3. Yeah. I remember saying I was going to have $1.50 on it. I won't even be able to get the $1.50 because they charge you $3.
Yeah.
And like the day before I left, he put like $400 on my books. I think $300 or $400 on my books, and I was like, and
you going where you need to go and everything.
Yeah, and like he didn't tell me. I just, you know, went to go check my, you know, do whatever, boom, 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 looked and went, the fuck? And he'd put money on my books before, so it was from the same person. And I went back. I was like, bro, did you put money on my books? He's like, yeah. I mean, I know you said you're going to get out with like $150, and I know he goes, and I know that's cute, but he said you're going to get to the halfway house. You're going to need some shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, bro, like, well, you know, that's pretty fucking cool.
Oh,
I would have been. Yeah. But you know, I was kind of trying to make it like I wanted to be able to say I got out with nothing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I got out with like if you're complaining, you know, I wanted 3 years later for somebody to be complaining in front of me and be like, bro, I got out of federal prison, went to the halfway house with no money, and now and I built myself from nothing. Started working at McDonald's. Like I was going to apply at McDonald's. I was okay with that. Like I wanted to be like, no, I started here and I went to here, but Tommy wouldn't let me do it.
No,
but thank God, bro.
Did you start this right away?
No, because I was an idiot. I kept thinking, well,
pushing it off, right?
I had no money. I was staying in someone's spare room,
okay.
So I don't really have any place to do anything like this. And I was like, and then I did Danny's podcast, this guy from Concrete, right? I did his, and he told me, I'll make it quick because I've told the story 1,000 times. But the quick version is, after the podcast, we went to Waffle House, and he goes, bro, you need to start a podcast. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, I said a YouTube channel. And I was like, you know, I told him I want to do a podcast. I want to do something like true crime or something, but I didn't really know this. I'm just got out of the halfway house, so I didn't really understand.
It's a lot to it.
Yeah, and so he was like, well, put something up. Start putting something up. Start telling your story or talk about fraud and put up some videos. He goes, because I'm telling you, he said, this is going to be big. He goes, I can't promise you that. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a big video. He goes, you have an amazing story. And I went, well, no, I don't have the camera equipment. I don't have the mics. The truth is, I'm also nervous. I don't know technically. I don't have a laptop. I don't have anything to be able to do these things with. I don't have Final Cut Pro. I don't have anything. He goes, you got an iPhone. It's got a great camera. It's got a great fucking speaker or microphone. Right, yeah. He said, you can just put it up, turn it on, start talking, put it up. I go, oh, that'll look like shit. It won't look good. I want it to be professional. And he's like, okay. He goes, well, I'm telling you, this is what you should do. He said, do what you want. Mm-hmm. You know, I was like, okay. So, you know, I didn't, you know, and to his credit, he did everything he could. I didn't believe him. Yeah. That video that he put up got over 2 million views.
Wow.
And so literally, as soon as I went, it got maybe, by the time it got to 1 million views, I was contacted by Patrick Bet-David's people, and they flew me out. That video got over 2 million views.
That went good, yeah.
And then Vlad wanted to talk to me. And then I went and did Soft White. Yeah, I did a bunch. You know, he cuts them up.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's his big thing.
Yeah. So, you know, the total of those is over 2 million because it's this one video got 500, one's got 700, one's got 300, one's got, you add them all up.
You got a story, dude.
Oh, bro. And then I went to Soft White Underbelly, 2 million. So by the time all of the algorithms completely saturated YouTube with my story, because if I go on a program now, I don't get 2 million. I get 100,000, 200, maybe, you know? So
why do you say that?
Well, because what happens is I think, and I don't know 100%, but I'm telling the same story.
Yeah.
So the algorithm's shown everybody that's interested. And so there's nobody to show anymore. And they still do it, and some of the people watch. But for the people that are interested in my story, have seen it. Yeah. So had I started a YouTube channel when Danny told me to, I probably have 1 million subscribers right now.
When you were blowing up?
Yeah, because he told me beforehand.
Yeah,
but I didn't.
Wow.
I waited. The momentum's gone. And then I get some cameras, I get the stuff together, and then I did it the way I initially started, like with my camera, and did that for 6 months, and then I convinced Colby to come in and help me, so he helps me, and then it did well, and I'm doing great, but I missed a massive opportunity, you know, and I would say, like, Danny gave me the best piece of advice that I just completely ignored.
And it's hard, you know, starting new things and taking that risk, you know.
That anxiety.
Your time's valuable too, you know. So it's like, what if I put all this time into this and it doesn't work, or you know?
But if you don't, you got no chance.
All this money, 100%, you know. But it's just what a lot of us do. I feel like, you know.
Yeah, you just I don't want
procrastinate.
I don't want to wait. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Procrastination. And I was like, I wanted it perfect, and the truth is, it's never going to be perfect.
Just gotta go in and flow with it.
Right. And Danny even told me that. I said, oh, it'll look like shit. He said, then put it up and it'll look like crap. And in a year from now, when you've got a professional situation going on, his people will be able to look back and say, wow, bro, look how much you've grown. Look how much better you got. I was like, nah, I'm blowing him up. And the truth is he, at that time, he's running, and still now, is running a super professional operation. Why wouldn't I listen to him?
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just a jackass move, just arrogant.
That's definitely part of it, but it's definitely, like you said, it's just taking that avenue, man. It's just a whole bunch of, you procrastinate, you doubt yourself probably.
Yeah. Well,
right?
Of course.
Because you're scared, like you said.
And then what people say, this is what I tell people when they're like, yeah, but what if it doesn't get any views? I'm like, then what do you care?
Yeah.
If it gets 120, if each video is getting 60 views, then nobody's watching. I know, right? It's embarrassing. Why is it embarrassing? Nobody's watching. Who are you embarrassed in front of? 64 people that watched?
Yeah.
What do you care?
Yeah.
If it gets no views, then you didn't embarrass yourself. And it gets a massive amount of views, then it's successful.
Yeah.
So what do you, it's like, what, so if you think about it like that, you're like,
you need to do it.
You're
Dude.
right.
You need to do it so you maybe you get bad feedback or something. If you get the bad feedback, all right, I use that to actually fuel yourself to fix certain things. Like
you improve.
Yeah. I know a lot of people don't like this, or they don't like the way I do this, or if I interview these type people, stuff like that. So I get it.
Always, like we're trying to, like, we just upgraded like our microphones. Now we're gonna get like what is it called?
The cloud lifter?
Yeah, get a cloud lifter. We're going, what I'm saying? Like, we're always kind of trying to tweak a little here, tweak a little bit there.
It's good, man.
So, at some point, 6 months, a year from now, it'll be to a point where it's like, okay, like this is as good as we can probably get it.
Listen, so I watched your podcast with Pat Bedford David, and I'm like, damn, this dude's smart. You know what I'm saying? I seen him, like, this dude's a genius, It's just the way he talks and everything, It's just like, it's just in you, you know what I'm saying? And then, when Jess had hit me up, I'm like, this has to be fake. I'm like, so I just started making videos and all. I'm like, this has to be fake. There's no way. So I'm sitting there, and I think I was hesitant to hit her back. So I was like, if I hit her back, let me at least sound like it's not fake. Like, like I'm engaged, and like, give her like an honest answer, Because at first I just like wanted to ignore it or block her. And I'm like, because you get stuff all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I never really looked at your podcast. I'm like, but just a little bit of time, like it's been like a month, and it's like every time I look at you, you're just a couple more thousand, like you're growing. So it's like it's definitely
it's listen,
it's a walk.
I'm thrilled. Like I'm thrilled.
I would, dude. You got a lot more followers than a lot of other people do.
Yeah, it's going good.
That's good.
So you got out of prison. Right,
so,
you got out.
So I went to the halfway house. I went to the assessment center, a strict spot. I wound up making it there. So I go to the halfway house. I'm doing pretty good. It was a program spot at first. You had a program for 3 to 4 months. Then I go to the same building, just another part of it. So now I'm on work release. So I get a job. I'm working at a pallet company, and I'm getting closer to my parole date. So I'm getting close to my I'm in this halfway house for a year. I'm getting close to my I was there for a year. I would have did a year and a half. So this is what happened. I'm there, I'm on work release. I'm dipping out. So every lunch break and all, as long as everybody is in cahoots and everything, everybody's doing the same thing, or because we had to take a bus. The halfway house didn't drop us off there. You would take a bus to your job most of the time. So we would get to this bus stop, take the bus to your work, and then walk to the bus stop, and then go back to this place, right? So I would swerve out, and I would meet my fiance, and or a couple of my buddies came and visit me and hang out for the day. But I would meet my fiance, and do what it does in the car, So we were doing what it does in the car. So I wound up getting her pregnant. All right. So I wound up getting her pregnant while I'm in the halfway house. I get her pregnant. I'm all, I'm all fertile and everything, been years and not doing no drugs, no nothing. So I get her pregnant. I'm like, oh, fuck, man. I still got time to do it. Yeah, it got serious. So I get her pregnant, and then I'm actually pretty excited about that at the same time, but I'm like, fucking, So I knew it was going to change my life, So I'm getting furloughs at this time. I start getting furloughs, You know what a furlough is? Yeah, so I get a furlough. At first, it's like 8-hour passes. Then it's an overnight pass. And then I got to the point where it was go the whole weekend. Leave Friday, come back Sunday night. Just got like one of them, right? I just got one. Well, I'm at work at a pallet company, dude. And I'm messing around at the end of the day. And I hop on this platform where it cuts like wood with a big chop saw. And I was like, yo, let me cut some. And we're dicking around on there. And my fingertips, actually, I cut them off. So I don't know if you can see him, Colby. Yeah. So I cut my fingertips off. I stick my hand in there, and there was this where the wood went thing, and we're talking shit. And he keeps like messing with my wood, so I grabbed it real hard and I pulled down. Boom. And I guess my body felt it, and I had gloves on. I looked over, and I'm like, dude, I think I just cut my fingers off. And he's like, no. And I'm like, dude. And he's bugging out. I'm like, dude, like, stop. Like, you're bugging me out, right? So I take the glove off. I'm like, wow. So they're cut off, severed, right? So I'm walking around because I just found out she's pregnant. So now, like, all that's going through my head is I got to go find my buddy. You got to call her and let her know that I'm probably going back to jail, you know, because that's how it works. I got to go back to jail to go to the hospital.
Okay.
So I knew I was going to lose my spot at the halfway house. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not going to keep me at this halfway house not working, making no money off me. They're going to send me back to jail. And then I'm going to sit in the hospital. And then I thought I was going to go back to the halfway house when I was done. But it wasn't the case. So just found out she was pregnant. I go to this back to this prison. Sitting in the hospital. They're not letting me out myself for like a month. Because the cops, I guess, thought I was going. Nobody knew what was up. So I'm in my cell. I was allowed out like once a week to take a shower and all. Like, I'm just, so much stuff was going through my head, dude. Like, I'm just like, it was tearing me up because I'm hurt. Can't call nobody. Nobody knows what's going on with me. Just found out she's pregnant. I don't know how she's doing, you know, and I can't get out of this. I'm just trapped in a cell. So I wound up getting a paper slipped onto my thing saying, we're taking your gang minimum away from you, which you need to go to halfway house, and you got to go see the what's it called, the board where they
parole board, probation,
not parole board, I forget what it's called, where they assess your points,
okay,
to see if you're gang minimum, medium, and all. But so they were like, you got to go through this process again. So I'm like, all right, so I'm fucked. You know, so yeah, so we have that going on, and then a month goes by. I finally hit her up, and I'm like, yo, like, they're taking away, like, I'm stuck here, like, whatever. And she was like, damn, like, you know, this sucks. Just found out she was pregnant, and then I had to go through the whole process again. I'm sitting in, so I go back to prison for like another 8 months or something like that. You know, like, I think it was 6 months. So then I finally see parole, and parole was like, yo, we're gonna give you your date, but you have to go to a halfway back, which is basically a halfway house. It's just that they don't keep as much as your money. You keep most of your paycheck, basically.
Okay.
So, because when you're in a halfway house, they take like 40% of your paycheck.
Right.
But this halfway back, they're not allowed to. So I kept all my money. So it was cool. It worked out. But she had to do the whole pregnancy by herself. And actually, my daughter was born a month before I came home from prison. So, but luckily, like, I remember I called her one morning, and she was like, oh, like, it's happening. And I'm like, fuck. It was a weekend. I'm like, so I'm in the halfway back. So I'm kind of like home, but I'm not. Like, I'm not able to go home and all, but it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like you're able to, like, I knew I was going to be able to go to the hospital and sign the papers. So I was trying to go that day, and I'm like, look, just hold on. Let me try talking to somebody, see if I can go today. You know, I want to be there. And she held out for like 12 hours, dude. Like, literally.
She clenching up? What's going on?
I have no clue.
How does that?
Champ, dude. I don't know. She literally, like, was able, and then finally the nurse is like, you gotta start pushing.
Right. So
I wound up actually falling asleep around dinner time, and then I didn't call her till like 8, and she was like, yeah, I had the kid at like 5, and I'm like, sorry, like, you know. She was like, yeah, like, you kind of forgot about me or whatever, and I'm like, so whatever. So she had my daughter, and then like 3 days later, I was able to go up there and sign the papers, and they gave me a day pass for the whole day. So it was pretty cool. So yeah, my daughter was conceived in back of a car, and then so it's a pretty cool story. I guess I could tell when she gets older. You know. Yeah.
So when you got out, you went to work as a carpenter?
No, so I never was a carpenter. So I was just selling drugs, and I would work with my dad and my uncle. My uncle was a carpenter, and my dad was an electrician. I would work my ass off, but I was more like a grunt. Like I never paid attention to read a tape measure, really nothing like that. Like I was, So actually, when I came home, I got a job with this dude doing like demo. So I was doing demo. I was making like $9 an hour, and I was doing his landscaping, right? So it was a big company and everything, and making $9 an hour. I don't even think I had my license. So I got released. I had 20 months parole too. So my license, someone was up my license, and he was like, "Listen, when you get your license right, I'll give you a raise." So I'm riding his trucks around, his landscaping crew, and doing all this paperwork and everything, paying $9, and then I started fucking having a conversation with my fiance's dad, and I'm like, "Look, like he's like, look, I could probably get you in the union, because he got in a year before I did. He's like, I could probably get in the union." I'm like, I didn't even know what a union was.
Right.
They're not big down here. I know that.
Yeah.
That's right to work state. So I'm like, he was like, yeah, you get a pension annuity. I don't know what the fuck that is, like, because nobody was ever taught me, like. So I'm like, all right, sounds good, like insurance, like good money. So I'm like, all right, cool, let's do it. So I actually started working on the side with this dude. And he was like, he liked my work ethic. He was like, look, I really like your work ethic. I can get you in the union. So it literally happened so fast, dude. Like literally within a couple of days, I was working union. Like he just had it in with somebody. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like this is cool. Like $20 an hour, like first year apprentice, So I did 5-year apprenticeship to become a journeyman.
Okay.
So that's what I am now. And
what is a journeyman? I thought that was like a carpenter.
It is. That's
okay.
I'm saying I'm a carpenter now.
Oh, okay,
yes.
okay.
I'm saying so that's
okay.
He got in it. Her dad got in a year before I did. So when I came home, I didn't start off for the first 2 months. I came home to a baby. She found an apartment. I saved like $2,000, so I was able to pay for the apartment and everything. But I was broke.
Right.
Didn't have a vehicle. I didn't have nothing. Because when I was locked up, my ex beat me for like $10,000. She got all messed up on heroin.
Right.
And then $10,000 was going like a month, So I came home broke, I literally had a couple thousand. It all went to what it went to, like just getting on my feet, clothes. I needed clothes. I needed a truck, insurance, phone, all that. So when I got in a union, dude, I went through apprenticeship. Now I'm a journeyman, which is, carpenter. It's
You're
just
a carpenter.
Yeah, I'm not a apprentice.
That's missing 2 fingers.
Yeah,
that doesn't seem.
I make it work though. I make it work. Yeah, I make it work.
It's not that bad. I mean, not that it's not
it's
bad.
Good.
But I mean,
sometimes though, I'm like trying to hold something or something. It's a pain. It's a pain in the ass. In the winter time, it gets freezing too, like frostbite.
What happened to the fingers?
So honestly, dude, look, I even got a little fingernail on there.
So it was kind of just the tips.
So if you look at it,
yeah, it's okay.
This got cut all the way off.
They put it back on?
They put this one back on. This one was in like 1,000,000 pieces. But so when it grew back, like part of it, if there's a slant on here,
right,
part of it died, and I just fucking ripped it off. Like, so it wasn't really attached, but yeah. It's just crazy how it went. Like, it's just, I just started getting furloughs. Everything's looking up. I just found out she's pregnant. Like, life's supposed to be good now.
Yeah.
I should be getting my date, in a few months. And then, boom, I cut my fingertips off. Now she goes through the pregnancy all by herself. I get sent back to prison for fucking months. And then, and then I initially missed my daughter's birth. So
I'm sure you never hear about that.
Huh? Oh, yeah. I hear it all the time. Fucking all the time. All my fuck ups. But yeah, it's just crazy, dude. It's nuts. But it's like, I wouldn't want it any other way, dude, because it's like it's just like molded me. Like, I became a man in prison, dude. I'm so immature and stupid, It's just I became a man. Like, I learned a lot about myself. It changed me. I actually saved my life,
That's funny. That's what Jess says. My wife. She's like, she did 5 years. She's like, I'd saved my life. She's like, I'd be dead right now. There's no doubt.
I would either be dead or be doing a lot more time because I would have probably got locked up later on in life doing something else.
Get yourself really get yourself in trouble.
Really get jammed up. But it's just, if you look at everybody who's hanging out with, dude, they're either on drugs, in jail, or just ain't doing nothing with their life, dude. And it's just like, I built such a beautiful life, just.
I was gonna say that's how I feel. Like when I took off on the run in Tampa, the FBI, like I sometimes wish that the guy that told me they were coming for me, I kind of sometimes wish like
a little tip.
Yeah, so I went on the run for 3 years. So it's like I almost feel like
too,
but I mean I almost felt like I almost wish that if he hadn't said anything and they just one day raided the office and grabbed me, I'd have probably done 6 or 7 years, maybe 5 years. I'd probably been out in 3 or 4 years. But when I went on the run, I made things that much worse.
Did you really? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes they just kind of like say it's going to be worse, but
bro, it was much worse because there were all these articles, and now I'm on the run. It was 3 years.
News got involved.
Yeah, I'm stealing more money. So when the news got involved, and I was prosecuted in a much harsher district by a prosecutor that was much harsher than the person that I would have been prosecuted on, this guy Mazakowski here in Tampa, and I would have probably gotten 6 or 7 years, and I probably would have only done a few. I've done 3 or 4 years. If you get 6, I probably would have got halfway house, RDAP program, a year off for that. I probably would have done 3. I'd probably been in a halfway house in 3 years. But just like you said, arrogance, stupidity, just thought I knew everything. You can't catch me. I'm too smart for you. You're not too smart for him. You know what I'm saying? It's
crazy because you probably definitely had the money to do it right, but it's like you don't know what it until you look back on it. It's like
it's a unfortunately at most crime it's a the learning curve is going to prison a few times.
Yeah.
And then if you go to prison for a few times and long enough, if you're lucky, you might have learned a lot. But if you're really lucky, then you realize,
this is it.
I'm good. Yeah. I'm just good with just being a normal person.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I hate prison jail, dude. I hate it. I hate the people in there. I hate just the whole situation. I hate it all, dude. It's nothing. There's nothing fun or good about it.
So what happened? So you got out? You want to talk about this last one?
Yeah. All right. So yeah. So I got out. 2016, completed parole, no problems, and I was cool, Actually, I wound up having another kid. I had my son. Everything was cool, and getting a little trouble. Like 2020, I had got pulled over. 2020, I had got pulled over for I left work early. I had left work early because I was sick. I was throwing up. It was around COVID time, right? 2020. Right. It was like May or something. So it was pretty hot, So I tried doing the right thing, right? We got a main highway around there. I pulled over on that, which I should have pulled off the highway. So I pulled over on there. I'm sleeping it off, right? Cop comes knocking on my window. Whatever. I just got this new truck, 2020. So I'm like, so this is why. So I got a 2020 truck, right? And then he pulls up and everything, and he's like, going back and forth. I said, look, I'm sick. And he's like, look, I need you to step out, all right? So I'm like, all right, step out. He's like, you have anything in the car? And I had 30 Suboxone tucked. And I'm like, fuck, I got that. I don't want him ripping up my truck.
Right.
So I'm like, look, yeah, I got some Suboxone. I give it to him. I'm like, here, give him Suboxone, whatever. So he does everything. He's like, nah, like, you're drunk. I'm like, dude, like, I'll blow. He's like, you can't. He was like, because you said you're sick. It's going to mess up the machine if you have COVID. So I'm like, all right. He was like, well, you can take a drug test. So I'm thinking, all right, cool. Like, got Suboxone in my system. That's it. Like, I'm cool, you know? So I take the drug test and want to bite me in my ass because now they're using, all right, you have Suboxone in your system. You're probably high on that. Right?
Okay.
So I fought this for 3 years, and I literally just had to cop out to reckless driving. So from 2020, 2024, I spent $20,000 on lawyers.
Right.
I think 3 of it to this one lawyer helped me out with one situation where I think I was drinking and driving, and a cop came behind me and he flashed his lights, and I pulled over. Like, dude, I pulled over on like this bumpy, grassy road, and it just pissed me the fuck off because he wasn't even for me, and he went by me, whatever. So I get back on the road, and this is how fucking stupid I am when I'm drinking and shit. I chase the cop down. So I'm chasing a cop, I don't know, citizen arrest or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I just want to fight, right? So I chase him down past my house. I'm on the phone with my fiance, like, yeah, I'm chasing this guy, but I'm fucking fuck him up. And she's like, all right, like, why are you doing that? And I'm like, I hang up, right? So me and him get out of the car, we're arguing, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, so we're arguing. We get back in the car, he goes the other way. Now my head's like, all right, motherfucker, like, you know, because he was like, driving, passing cars, hit his lights, past cars. So I don't know, dude. It's just retarded, dude. I look back on like the stupid shit I did. So this is like 2020. So whatever. So we pull over the second time, and he comes. I stay in the truck. He comes up to my car, and he was like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing? This, that, there, whatever." I said, "Take your shit off. I'm gonna beat you the fuck up." As soon as I said that, he was like, "You're under arrest." So now I'm like, "Fuck." So I'm all fucking drunk, and he was like, "Fucking." Kept grabbing my hand. I'm like, nah. I'm like, what the fuck are you locking me up for? I said, fucking, you know what I mean? Just fucking talk to me. And he's like, nah, it's over with. All right. So he locks me up, and then didn't hit me up for a DUI. He was like, what are you drinking or something? I'm like, nah, I ain't fucking drinking. He's like, what's your problem? I was like, dude, you ran me the fuck off the road for nothing. You know, I was fucking pissed, you know, and he was just like, and then wrote me a whole bunch of tickets. And then I wound up fighting and beating it. So that $3,000 was well spent, but that's just what I go through when I'm fucking drinking and drugging. It's just, I'm a fucking mess, you know? Right. Who the fuck chases a cop down trying to fight him? You know what I'm saying?
That's not a good idea.
It's retarded, you know?
You're not going to win that.
No, not at all. It's just, do you want to go back to jail? You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. So that was one of the things. So this happens. I get in a fight last June, right? I was at a ball game, and I'm minding my business. My fiance and her cousins are all on one side of the field. I'm on the other side, like watching from home plate, you know. And it's a playoff game for my nephews. And my buddy's mom runs up to me. He's like, Dylan, Ant's about to fight, da-da-da. So I'm, all right, I run over there, and it's like broken up at the time, right? Well, this dude's in the stands, and he's messing with everybody. He's just being real ignorant to everybody. Every time, like, something goes on, like, he's for the other team, you know. He's just being an asshole, like, just keeps bickering with him. So the game ends and everything, and he, my buddy's in the car, and I guess he's seen him there, and everybody was like, oh, like, my buddy's gonna want to fight him. The dude don't want to fight, though. So I'm sitting next to the car. I'm like, I said, just fucking leave. And he's like, nah, I'm gonna follow him home. I said, dude, just leave. You got your son in the car, just leave, you know? Mm-hmm. And he won't leave. I said, what do you want, a fucking apology? I was like, you want to go apology? So I ran up, dude, I'm like, no, I ain't going to get a fucking apology.
Right.
I guess I was just looking for trouble. So I walk up, I'm like, yo, dude, I'm like, you got to get my man an apology. He's like, I ain't got to do shit. I said, dude, you were wrong. Just go get him a fucking apology so we can all fucking leave. And then me and him start going at it. And he said something about fighting. I was like, nah, we could fight right here. And I just fucking hit him. And then I think I hit him with like a 2-piece. I knocked his tooth out, and it was just turned into a fucking mess. So, it turned into a shit show.
It sounds
real quick. It was like that. I'm trying to break up a fight, and then this fight happens, and then so they arrest me. So at a little league field, it's automatic 4th-degree felony. Fighting around minors,
right?
You know. So all right, cool. I get that. I'll take that. So I'm thinking I'm gonna get out. I'm sitting there. 3 days later, I'm in a cell. I get another charge, aggravated assault. He went to the hospital. Okay. He goes to the hospital, and he works at this other hospital he winds up going to, too. Cooper, which is big in Jersey, you know, Camden. He's like a head guy there. Well, he goes to this other hospital at first, and they told him, like, you have potential brain bleed and all this stuff. So he takes an ambulance to this other hospital where he works at and stays there for like a day or two. But they kind of wound up fucking him in the case because it came back he didn't have a brain bleed. He didn't have anything wrong with his neck or all the stuff he was claiming. He just had to, like, get his face straightened, like a hemorrhage and all, and then the dental problems. So yeah, I wound up doing 7 months for that, dude. And I did 6 months, and then I did a month of rehab because I took drug court. So you got to sell to them that you have a drug problem, which I didn't have at the time. Now here I am on drug court. I have November I started it. November I started drug court. So, but here I am back on papers, dude. My life was going good for me up until then. I mean, I was battling drinking. You know, I went to rehab for the last couple months. Actually, it was last year, 2000. I went to rehab twice. And then the second time I went to rehab, April 6th, as I'm going to rehab that day, I get a call that my stepmom that raised me, she died from alcohol withdrawal. She had a seizure. So my dad, he died right in my dad's arms. So my dad basically lost her and my brother from seizures. But yeah, I'm like, you know, this is it. Like, as a sign, like the same day, like, I got to get it right. But dude, I went to rehab second time, and 2 weeks later, I'm back drinking. I was drinking the day that the event happened, you know, so I'm sure that I wasn't drunk. I had like 2 shots, but I'm sure.
You think maybe there's a correlation between.
100%.
You should maybe stop drinking.
I'm done, dude.
I mean.
So I can't drink now. Like I showed you, I got patch on now.
Right.
For drug court. Detects alcohol and anything. But I feel like everything happens for like I needed this, you know. I needed the reset, the little vacation, you know. It just sucks I got kids now. It's the harder part, but it's just like I went to rehab and I started drinking within 2 weeks, like, you know. So I go away and I stop drinking all that time. It just makes it so much easier for me not to drink. And now with this time, I'm just trying to use it to like really learn about myself so I don't go back to that.
Right.
Because I don't do anything. I haven't done any other drugs since 2020.
How old are you?
31.
Yeah, Russ. It's like it's enough already. You can't even like you're at the point now where you can't even say, well, you know, I was young, but you're not young anymore. No, you're 31. No, you're old enough to.
Yeah. So I stopped all the other shit 4 years ago. I guess I was 27. I was just drinking while I was battling. But I'm not stupid. I know it's. I do it for. I don't even like drinking no more. And I was doing it out of boredom.
Right.
You know. I can't stay still. I mean, you see me going back and forth in the chair, right? I just can't sit still. So now I just try like working out and just videos,
doing TikToks.
Yeah,
I found
TikTok,
I found you on TikTok, or Jess, my wife, found you on TikTok.
Yeah, so I try doing that in my extra time if I'm not with the kids, maybe involving them a little bit and just, you know, trying to make something out of that. You know,
this shit was hilarious. When I was flipping through it and I saw the your little kids, you were going. He's like, lockdown, and they go running to, because that's how it is. Yep. The guards will just walk in and go, lockdown, and everybody runs to, or really fast walks or runs to their cell, or they run around trying to grab stuff before they close the doors.
If they come in and you're not locked down when they think you're supposed to be, yeah, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah. It's
probably get your ass whooped or get sent to the hole.
You just got the little kids running at me.
Yeah, it's great.
So funny.
They're great, man. I love them kids, man. They you know, they give me a purpose, man.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say, yeah. You've got all the other videos. The you know, of course I'm an inmate. You know, of course I've got my shower slides when I wear my shower slides when I, you know, take a shower. Whatever the different ones you have.
I did one that didn't blow up, but I actually did one in there where I put the lead in the outlet. I had to replace my outlet anyway, so I put the lead in the outlet, and I used I put the lead in the outlet, and I used another piece of lead, and I touched it, and I had toilet paper, and I sparked it, and then fucking
to light like a cigarette.
Yeah.
Or you know what they'll do in
it's how they make fire, like with the outlet, and
I mean they do this all the time, bro. It's like, bro, they'll take a Doritos bag, and they'll cut it real thin.
Microwave.
No. So they take a Dorito bag, they cut a real thin slice, and then they'll take a battery, like a AA battery, and put it to the positive and negative, and it actually lights up, and they'll use that as a lighter to light their.
I don't remember seeing that, but yeah, yo, it's scientists, dude.
The
low key scientists.
Amazing how, you know, of course the stingers.
Oh, stingers, yeah, nail clippers.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's they'll make a stinger and plug it in the plug and boom, put it in your coffee. I mean, immediately it'll be boiling, and then they unplug it. Or you want to do soup, boom, you get boils immediately.
You get the bucket. You put your good water in a bag though, because you're not going to drink that stinger water. That stinger gets all brown and nasty.
Right.
Yeah.
Or I was going to say, you know what else they used to do? And they did this in the medium. They would get oil from the kitchen, and they would use it
to fry.
Yeah, but they'd get a garbage can, because we had garbage cans. They had these really thick, like, I don't even know if it was plastic. It was so hard, but it was a big thing, and they would use it to deep fry. They would take, I would call them wraps, because that's what they called them in prison, but tortilla chips. So they take chicken, and then they wrap it up in a tortilla chip, and then they would deep fry it. So you got these deep fried tortilla. I mean,
they're probably banging,
good,
dude.
Bro, good. This
like
guy would make
like a pierogi type deal.
They'd make 100 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, they deep fry Snickers.
Right? Deep fry. Yeah.
So you would order them. This guy would have 100 or 200 on his bed. They pull up, the pan beds, pull off the mattresses. He'd have them lined up, and guys are literally showing up, going, "Bro, I got 10 of them. You got 10? All right, hold on, give me 10. All right, hey." He had like little slips of paper, because people would put in an order, and I would always go in and be like, "Hey man, let me get one. Let me get my Cox. We don't have one. Come on, man. Let me get one. Somebody didn't. Come on. I'm gonna give you one. You gotta start putting in an order.
Start putting in an order. Yeah. Try sneaking up in there. Yeah.
That's funny
all
too.
That, the bufongos, all that, dude.
I was gonna say that guy is named.
Is he a chef now?
No, he owns a place in Texas. He does. Oh my God. Pools, custom made pools, and I mean like the infinity pools, and I mean he's got it's amazing the stuff he does. And real quick, tell you this story. Yeah. This is good. Did
you ever see them dudes that made the pools in like Thailand or something? Dude,
oh yeah,
in the woods.
Yeah. They chip out the clay, and they do
crazy, and then they bring the water there from a river or something. Like, them dudes are fucking genius.
And
they
not
blew
just
up.
That, what are they banking on those? All of them have 10 million, 12 million views.
They definitely have money.
And they're 30. Those videos are like at 45 minutes long, an hour long. So that's a ton of money.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say this guy. Do you know what a Rule 35 is?
No.
Okay, in the federal system, a Rule 35 is when you cooperate. So if somebody cooperates and they go into sentencing and they get a part of their sentence reduced, it's called a 5K1. If they cooperated and then they get sentenced and then later the government uses it, they call them back to court. They file what's called a Rule 35. So if it's before sentencing, it's a 5K1. If it's after, it's a Rule 35. There's something called a third-party Rule 35, which means this guy did
somebody else on his behalf?
Exactly. Somebody else cooperated to get them out of prison.
Oh, shit.
This guy got 10 years and was going to do the 10 years because, he's not going to cooperate because most of the people involved in his case, he knows. They're all friends. They grew up together. He's like, I got 10 years, a mandatory minimum 10 years. He's like basically we all took it, which is honestly, which is really semi unheard of. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So,
especially when you got multiple people in it.
Right. But it was multiple people. And he listen, he would have told you, he's like, he's like it may have been different. He said, but I grew up with all these guys. He's like, we don't hate each other. We don't have it. Like, we're all friends, and they're all from, all of them, except for him. He's half Korean. I think I want to say he's half Korean. I probably got it wrong. He'd probably be furious. I'm Vietnamese, whatever. But they're all Korean, right? So all of his buddies that grew up, and they're all Korean. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're very solid.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know how many. I don't know if it was 10 people, 8 people. I don't know if it was 20, but whatever. They all went. He's there. He'd been down 3 years. He's at the medium, and he had been dating, listen to this. So he'd been dating this girl. He called her the Puerto Rican princess. So he had been dating her prior to prison. And one day, and she had a good friend, a best friend. He said, I started sleeping with her best friend.
Oh, wow.
And he said, so I started sleeping with her best friend. He said, and one day she comes home and they live together. He'd completely moved his stuff out of the apartment and moved in with the other girl. He was when he told the story, he said, and listen, legitimately, she was devastated.
No heads up?
No, he said she was devastated. She had no idea I was seeing her. She had no idea this was happening. Devastated her so bad that he said she moved. She closed out, moved her stuff, sold everything, and moved out of the state.
He said kill herself. Yeah.
He said because everybody we knew. Well, he said everybody that we knew each other. He goes, so she can't see one of my friends that doesn't. He said we all know the same people. He goes, and she was like, I couldn't be there anymore, and so she goes, and she can't go to her best friend. Her best friend's living with me. He's like, listen. He goes, it was agony. He's like, I was in agony over it. The best friend was in agony. He's like, I knew what I did was a complete dick move. He said,
say the least.
Yeah, he was like, I fucked up. He said, and I knew. He said, I knew it was a shitty thing to do. He said, she was a good person. Like I can't even justify why I did it. He said, so she's gone. 5 years later, I get this case. He goes, 5 years later, I get grabbed. And I said, how long did the new girl stick with you? He said, 3 months. 3 months. She's gone. He's like, I'm 3-4 months. He said, she just stops coming around. It's done. She's not visiting me. No letters, nothing. Gone. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and he said, so now he's been locked up. He's been locked up 3 years. One day, he's like, bro, he's like, I got a letter from the Puerto Rican princess. Mm. And I was like, who's that? And then he tells me the story. He said, yeah, weird. He's like literally somebody told her what happened. Like she had disassociated herself, but somebody told her, hey, this is what happened. He's in jail. Got 10 years. She was like, oh my God. So she contacts the prison. She gets a visitation form. She fills it out. It's approved. Mm. So he gets a letter from her saying, this is what just happened. And literally he's got the letter and he gets called into his counselor's office like the next day. And they say, hey, I don't know, but this girl was just approved she's now on your visitation list. He's like, holy shit. She shows up like 2 days later. The next visitation he could have, she shows up. And I don't mean she's not down the street, bro. She's like 3 states over.
Oh, shit.
She drives all the way there, stays there the night, comes, sees him, everything. So she sees him and she's in jail and she says, listen, I can get you. She's crying. I love you. I've always been in love with you. I don't know. I don't care what you did. I know that what's her name left you. I know that you're not seeing anybody. I know you're in here. I know nobody's there. She's like, I love you. She's like, how much more time do you have? And he's like, I've got like 5 more years. He's like, it's not going to work. Like you just go have fun. It's fine. He's like, write me and come visit me if you want. It's fine. She's like, no, I can get you out of prison. I can get you out of here. And he goes, no, you can't. He's like, I'm in prison. And she said, no, I can get you out. She said, I have a friend and she talked to her uncle and like her uncle's a DEA agent. Like, I don't know exactly how I'm ad-libbing, but she's like, and I talked to him and he said, there's something called Rule 35. And he said that if I know any drug dealers, I can get you out because all I have to do is wear a wire and hang out with the drug dealers and wear a wire and set them up. And then if they bust them,
solid.
Yeah. And he's like, and he told her, he said, no, he goes, don't do that. He said, she's like, no. He's like, no. He's like, it's kind of like cooperating. I don't want to be involved in cooperation. No, she's like, no, you wouldn't be cooperating. He's like, it doesn't matter. I'm telling you, don't do it. You could get in trouble. He's like, look, I'll tell you right, what else is going to have to happen? He's like, you're probably going to end up having to date one of these guys. He's like, so now you'll be sleeping with some guy. He's like, and the DEA will let you do that. He's like, so he's like you're not going to be sleeping with some guy for me to try and get me out, to try and bust him. And she's like, that's not going to happen. That's not how it's going to work. She goes, look, don't you understand? She's like, I know a guy. I know this guy and he likes me. And he's like, no. So he said, I told her, no. Because he came back and told us this. Okay. So, whether he did or not, I don't know. That's what he told me. And he was pretty solid. Like, I think he would have told me. Yeah. Probably would have said something.
He already got time invested. He's already,
well, so she comes back, comes back a month later, 2 months later, about 3 months later. I go in his cell one day. I'm like, hey, what's up? I said, I heard they called you a visitation. Who came to see you? It was their mom. Sometimes his mom came. And he's like, it was the Puerto Rican princess. And I was like, oh, I said, what happened? He goes, she said she came to tell me she made a buy. And I was like, really? He said, yeah. He said, a few of them. Mm. I was like, whoa. And he goes, bro, don't say nothing to nobody. I said, no, I'm not going to say nothing. I was like, wow, that's serious, bro. And he's like, it is serious. And it was like, I told her not to. I told her, I was like, yes, I said, stop with that. I get it. I understand.
Yeah, I get it.
So, and he's like, fuck, bro. Like, I mean, she could get in trouble. Like, she could get hurt. You know, he's like, because I know who these guys are. Like, she's told me, he didn't know them, but she's told me who, she's like, this isn't.
Listen, they had to be big time.
Right. He's like, they're not low level guys. Yeah. And he's like, she's going to parties with them all the time. She's hanging out. She's this. And he's like, and she's a nice girl, bro. She didn't know what she's doing. So anyway, literally a month or so later, she comes again, same thing. She's like, I've made some more stuff. Like I've got the DEA said it's a solid case. She's like, they're probably going to do something. And then I don't know what happened because it was literally like, it went forever. I never heard anything else about it. Like didn't hear anything else. And it was probably a year later. And I walk into his cell and his cellie was there. And his name, I've mentioned him before too. His last name was DiGeronimo. I just remember it because Geronimo, but he's actually Italian. He's Italian.
I like that. Yeah.
He's actually Italian, but he's like people think it's a Native American mess. It's not. So, and he's sitting in the cell with him, and then we're sitting there. He looks at the guy. He looks at him and he goes, tell him. Just tell him, and he goes, looks at him. They're like, he's like. And he goes, Cox, I swear to God, you can't say nothing. And I was like, what? And he goes, he's going home. And I go, what? He goes, he's going home. I said, no, what happened, bro? He's like, shut the door. You know, so I'm like, what happened? He's like, oh yeah. He said 6 months ago, they busted all of them guys. He said, it's like 20 people. It's like 20. Wow. He's like, it just was a domino effect. And he's like, and they all started taking pleas. He's in the last guy pled. He was in the U.S. He said, she called me or she came like that day or a couple days later and said, look, they're putting in for your reduction. He's like she's been talking to the U.S. attorney, the DEA, like talking to all of them. Everybody's talking to her. And they're like, look, we're putting in, it'll be boom. It's going to be immediate release.
5 years later, like crime that had nothing even do with him. That's wild.
Yeah. So he ended up doing like 4 years and a few months, but he got immediate release. He didn't go to halfway house, nothing. I was going to
say, like something like that. It's just like one day, like it's just roll up, right? Probably.
Well, yeah, especially because if it's 10 years, the way it works is it's 10 years, they're going to say, okay, we're going to give you 3 years off your sentence. Well, at 3 years, he doesn't have enough time. With his good time, he doesn't have enough time to even go to a halfway house. It's like, so what they did was they just said, look, we just want immediate release. Like, just like if we reduce his sentence, he can't go to a halfway. He's going to believe in, there's not enough time to give him a cut. It cuts into whatever he's already done. So they just say immediate release. And so literally probably, I think it took another week, but maybe a week later, they just one day called him on the pack out.
So you're just going out like you beat a charge type deal. Like you just,
but they don't even know. All they know is like, if somebody's looking at the, they call it like the, it's the, you're on the outtake, whatever, the sheet. So I forget what they call it. I just said it a minute ago. But what happens is, you go and you're on pack out, and all that means is it's like pack out. So they're like pack out, like R&D, receiving departure. Hey. Like it'll say, your name or your reg number. It'll say 8:00 pack out R&D. So all these guys think is, oh, you're being transferred. And you don't know. Sometimes they'll just scoop people up. Yeah. So he's going around the night before being like, I don't know, bro. I don't know what happened. Like, here's my stuff. Here, you want some shoes? He's giving away all of his stuff. Like, I can't believe this. Like, oh, wow, that's crazy. Guys, oh, you're going to need those. You're going to need pet those. He's like, yeah, no, I'll just buy new ones. Mm-hmm. And, but really he's leaving. And, me and 3 or 4 other guys are glancing at each other like, holy shit. Yeah. Next day, he packs his stuff out and he
crazy feeling. Dude.
Walks right out that door, gets into whoever's waiting for him. I'm assuming the Puerto Rican prison, or maybe his mom. He did have a mom. He didn't know his dad.
I think she'd want to be there.
Yeah.
And she's cahoots with all them. So,
bro, but I mean, so
that's life changing. Could you imagine? That was nuts, bro. Yeah, that's.
Are they still together or what?
Yeah, that's what I want.
Okay,
know.
so this is why I didn't
dogged her out again.
Well, yeah,
I know he's not with her because he actually moved to. I want to say I don't really know where he lived, so I know he lives in Texas now. But he lives in Texas because when I got out, he saw me on YouTube. He hit me up on like Facebook, I think, because, I had been on a video and he'd seen me on a video. One day I was like, holy, I get this thing like, oh my God, bro, it's me, so-and-so, what's going on? Look, I'm doing this. Like he wanted me to move, like, can you move to Texas? I'll give you a job. You be a great salesman at this. I do high-end pool. He's showing me the whole thing and I'm like, oh wow, yeah, they were amazing. Yeah. And I was like, hey, and so we get on the phone. I'm like, hey, what happened to the Puerto Rican princess, which is the chick that I thought was in the photos with him. Gorgeous chick, right?
Oh, a whole different.
Not her.
Whoa.
But she has black hair. Like it could be her. Like she's, but I'm 3 beautiful boys. And he's like half Asian. I don't know what the mix is, but he's half American, half Asian. And so, because I actually painted his, he had a picture, I painted his sons. Like, bro, can you do that? He's bought several paintings from me.
So you can draw. I mean, I know you did get the degree, but yeah.
The paintings,
you did them?
Yeah, I did those things. Damn. So he was, does that make sense? Like he's telling me all this and I was like, bro, is that the Puerto Rican princess? He's like, no, bro, that didn't work out. I'm like, oh, that's fucked up. He's like, oh, don't stop.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
All right, I know. Oh, let's not stop. Yeah. He's like, I tried for a while. We tried. I mean, I was like,
give her a little bit of money at least so she can enjoy her life. All that money, hey, like that girl's a champ.
He's like, it just didn't work out. I was like, well, he's like, I told her not to do that, and I was like, I know.
But, oh man, that's a story right there.
It is. He's got this. It's this amazing. He's got nice 3 all little boys. Of course, this guy's super good looking, which I'm sure you kind of figure that he's a good looking guy. Everybody, all the little kids little boys are beautiful. His wife is fucking gorgeous. He's clearly making a ton of money, and but yeah. But that's one of those things that you hear these, and you're just sitting there like watching this whole thing. And I guess obviously he stopped keeping me in the loop when it got serious.
Yeah.
And then it just happened to be, he probably would have said nothing to me if his celly hadn't said, come on, bro. Just
he's let him know. Yeah,
Cox is fine.
He's in a little group.
Oh, listen, I'm in there changing people's paperwork for them and stuff. Sure. I'm like helping people out, like you cooperated and there's gangs in there. Like these guys are giving you a hard time. Like that, it could get bad for you. This guy's got to. He either has to provide paperwork that says he's good, or he's got to move. Like he's going to check. He's got to check in. And so I would help fix the paperwork.
How did you get so good with computers, though? Like, did you always?
Well, the paperwork wasn't a big deal. I just had to match up the font. Yeah. Like it's like New Times Roman. Size like 12 or whatever the PSIs are, like 14 or 12 or what. I just match it up and then I just change a couple of things on page 12 and then the last page 20, you change saying he's not eligible for cooperation.
Wolf of Wall Street, a bankroll. Yeah.
Right.
For real.
But you're in those situations, those you see this insane stuff happening and it's like you would have never known how insane things fall apart or go or fall apart or work out or whatever.
Yeah, life just happens so fast, dude. It's just like, and obviously his heart was never really there. I mean, it's kind of her fault,
Right.
It is, it's like, dude, like I dogged out your best friend.
Yeah.
Didn't give you no 2 weeks notice, at least give me a 2 weeks notice, Damn, he just fucking moved in with her. She lost her best friend and her boyfriend.
And all her friends. And when he told me the story, he was like, bro, it was devastating. He's like, I felt like it was such a bad situation. He said, obviously for her, he said, but for me, because she didn't deserve this. So he felt bad about it, but he was also super in love with
I gotta do what I gotta do.
Yeah. And you're young. Yeah. He's at that time, he was probably 19 or 20 years old, selling drugs, making tons of money, and then 5 years later, he gets caught up in a conspiracy, and So you're young. You're an asshole when you're young. You're not 100%. Thinking about anybody else.
100%.
And so now 5 years later, 5 years later plus 3 years in prison, 8 years later, he's at that time when he did all that, he probably didn't feel that horrible. But 8 years later, sitting in prison, realizing you're laying in bed thinking about your life and what got you there. You're like, wow, I was an asshole here. I was an asshole here. I don't know what I was thinking there. That was stupid. That person didn't have this coming. I was a complete dick to this guy. Never should have done that. You get to point out all these things, even the things that before I went to prison, and I would think about things that I did that I justified in my mind. Well, I didn't know this and I didn't know that. The truth is, looking back, once you mature, you're like, no, I did know. I'm smart enough to know that's how that was going to work. I chose not to realize that's what the end result was going to be. But the truth is, if I'd given it any thought at all, I knew.
That's why, like, when I went to prison, it was so easy for me to just change my life, because I just had all that. I had all that time just to sit there and just reflect on it, dude. I'm just like, especially this go around, dude. I'm like, I gotta change something, because getting old, I'm not stupid, you know. Like, I just gotta stop.
You don't want
your fool,
your kids growing up without you, or
it's a big thing, you know. That's why I try using my platform to. Of course, like, I have people hit me up all the time, like, "Oh, I love going on your page. Da, 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 you're funny. Like, you know, you just like one person said, like, you get that that person that you could just rock with, and every day you go on there for enjoyment. So it's just like, and I said, that's what keeps me doing it, is like you guys messaging me, and I don't have that big of a following, but it's like, it's good enough for me. And it's just like, I enjoy it. I like doing funny stuff. And then I try talking about, like, keeping it real. Like you said, like the jail, that I was this person and I changed myself. It's crazy because you get all the hate too. And then you got other people like, dude, like, obviously you can see that he's just being funny about it. Like, like.
There's always going to be some douchebag.
100%. But, overall, dude, I just like to enjoy life, and just, I'm at a point in my life, dude, where I don't chase money. I don't chase none of them. I just chase being happy, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I cut everybody off, dude, and I just, if I'm too much for you or anything, then so be it. I'm going to keep pushing, I'm going to keep doing what I do, make my little videos, silly videos, making people laugh, So,
yeah.
And life's so much better that way.
If you just stay consistent, it'll just keep coming and coming. Like, if you're like, well, you also just started putting stuff up. You know what I'm saying? It's like you just... so you can't expect anything to be blow up immediately.
You hit and miss too, and like, I try, like, all right, cool. Like, I always want to stick to myself, but at the same time, like, I try experimenting with different stuff to see what hits,
Right.
So,
hey, I appreciate you guys checking out the video. Do me a favor, subscribe. Please hit the bell so you get notified of videos just like this. Share the video, because that really does help. Also, consider joining my Patreon and leave a comment in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for checking it out. I appreciate it. See ya.